This is TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Over 2 million men worldwide choose Manscaped for all their below-the-waist needs. For those that love the Lawnmower 3.0, well, I got news for you. The Manscaped engineering team has confirmed that they have successfully created the Lawnmower 4.0. The Lawnmower 4.0 gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. The new trimmer even allows you to customize your trim all through additional guards lengths, sizes 1 through 4. And looks-wise, it's sleek with a two-tone matte and gloss finish, even features a hot foil stamp, black chrome Manscaped logo. Show your more off loud and proud. Go to manscaped.com, use the promo code State of Saints, and you will save 20% off of the Lawnmower 4.0 as well as other Manscaped items. That's manscaped.com. Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for joining the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. And Who Dat Nation, I am happy to inform you that this is the very last day that we will be without Saints football until like January. Isn't this great, man? Finally, man, football is here. Regardless if the regular season or preseason, we got some football, man. I'm extremely excited about that. I'm excited about the New Orleans Saints' first preseason game of the season versus the Houston Texans on Saturday. And I must say, man, this has been one of the most exciting off seasons. And this is going to be an exciting preseason. I'm going to be real with you. I'm normally, when you were talking about preseason, right, we're talking about how boring it is, right? The New Orleans Saints, for the most part, you probably have a few positions here and there that you need to address over the years, but it's never been like this. I go into this game versus the Houston Texans looking at some positions, that I didn't think I'd be looking at. I mean, looking at the quarterback position, looking at the running back position, the wide receiver position, tight end position, what they're going to do on defense. I mean, there are so many storylines leading up to this game versus the Houston Texans. Now, as we know, preseason is boring as hell. Not really that exciting. I mean, we had a couple exciting games that happened today. I mean, I think the Lions and the Falcon game that I checked out, it's pretty exciting. You've seen the Green Bay Packers, 49ers. It's a little bit exciting, right? So you see some guys out there that are trying to make the team. It was good to see Devin Funchess. It looked like they switched him from wide receiver to tight end. He's doing a little Jawan Johnson thing. I think that might work out for him. But, preseason is boring as hell. Like the only thing that you really are concerned about is maybe like those guys that's part of last chance you trying to make the team, but you don't want to see any starters end up getting hurt. Like I think Zach Wilson ended up coming up with an injury. It was non-contact. That's the kind of stuff that you don't want, especially like from starters. And then I think Jalen Hurts took a hellified late hit on the sidelines. So when you think about situations like that, it may make a coach cause to pause about playing some of those guys. But there are a few guys that I intend on seeing. I'm pretty sure that we're going to see rookie Chris Olave for a few snaps. I'm pretty sure we're going to see guys like Abram Smith, Devon Ozigbo. We're going to see some of these young, talented players that the Saints have drafted. We're probably going to see Jordan Jackson, the rookie out at Air Force. So there's some guys that we're going to see and we're going to be looking at. I'm pretty sure we're not going to see Alontae Taylor. He was dealing with an injury earlier in the week, so you're probably not going to see him until probably next week. You're probably going to see Andy Dalton a little bit, and you're probably going to see a fair share of Ian Book. But what I'm looking for, I'm not looking for wins here. Like if the Saints win the preseason game, it's fine. But I'm not looking like, man, the Saints need to go ahead and beat the Houston Texans. I'm looking for things that normally plague teams in preseason, like sure tackling, right? Tackling is always an issue because teams are going up against one another, and you don't want to really hurt the person that's on your team, right? Because that person might be important for your season to be successful. So you might get a little thump here and there, but nothing too serious. So I want to see some sound tackling. I want to see some guys actually wrapping up. That's always an issue in preseason, the first game. I'm interested to see assignments, seeing if guys are going to be where they need to be, making sure that guys are, finding the holes at running back, also being able to catch the ball when their number is called. Those are the things that I'm looking for. I'm not looking for guys to go out there and just wow me with spectacular plays, going for 4 touchdowns, anything like that. I just want to see some fundamentally sound guys, and I want to see some guys putting some really good stuff on tape. I find myself looking at a lot of preseason games because especially when you look at some of these guys that's not going to make the team, some of these guys are going to end up being on someone else's team. And if you can find yourself a diamond in the rough, then it's always a plus. So, I've seen some really good, talented guys late in the third and the fourth quarter of some of these preseason games. Wouldn't mind seeing them on a Saints team. So those are the things that I'm looking for. I don't know about you, but wins and losses is not a deal breaker to me in preseason. I just want to make sure that the guys that are important, the guys that we are looking at to help the Saints be what they need to be in order for them to be there in the end. Hopefully these guys can stand up and, and for the most part, not play, I don't think you need to see a guy, like Jameis Winston in preseason, not since that injury. I thought maybe a series or something like that before the injury, maybe. But after this, I'll be okay if he didn't play in preseason at all. Guys like Andy Dalton, I'm pretty sure, he's going to play. But guys like Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, like we don't need to see those guys play. We know those guys are special. We know those guys are going to get the job done when their name is called in the regular season. But let's try to see if we can get some of those other guys out there, guys that are on the bubble, and let's see what they can do. I'm going to go ahead and read some of your comments. Thank you for the 75 people that are here right now. I ask that you hit the like button. If you enjoy the State of the Saints podcast and all of the content, I would really appreciate that. But I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to start at closest to the top as I possibly can when we start talking about actual football. I'm going to start with no cap, no filter. Says, glad DA already got a head coach full week under his belt with Saints and in a meaningful game, shutout 9-0. I guess what we're talking about is that Tampa Bay game and no cap, no filter. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The only thing that I would say about that is, even though he was on the sidelines calling, calling the play, I won't say calling the plays, but kind of maintaining the coaching staff. Sean Payton was still a part of the fold. Sean Payton was still a part of, prepping for that game. He just was doing it via satellite on Zoom or whatever. But I get what you're saying. I echo your sentiments, but I don't know if a Tampa Bay game, one game in Raymond James Stadium on a Sunday night is going to be good enough. This is his team. I'm happy to see some of the things from Dennis Allen. One thing that does bother me, some of his verbiage and the way that he approached the media is kind of Sean Payton-like. I guess we probably won't see the type of coach he is as a New Orleans Saints head coach until the season and the games actually start. But he is a little bit more transparent when it comes to the injuries. Like Sean Payton normally just doesn't say anything. Dennis Allen, he kind of gives you an idea about what's going on with the guy versus you check the injury report. So it's a little bit of difference with that. I also like his approach where he's just not too up, not too down about a player. When the media talks about how good a guy looked in one-on-ones, I like that. It seems like to me like Dennis Allen likes physicality. He's a guy who who wants to see it between the lines, and I can respect that because I'm one of those people too, man. I'm not falling in love with 8-second video footage. I'm not falling in love with one-on-ones and all that kind of stuff. Like we want to see what these guys can do against the opposition, and that's something that I do like about them. But I don't think we're going to get a real dose of Dennis Allen until we see a nice little sample size, maybe 4 or 5 games when he is the head coach in New Orleans Saints versus just being behind. I mean, in front of the camera and talking to the media. I would like to see more, and we're not going to see more until more than likely he gets a couple games under his belt. Brian says the New York Jets 24, the Philadelphia Eagles 21. That was the final. Yeah, I checked out that game, man. A couple of those plays kind of stood out. Jalen Hurts looked pretty good. Also Zach Wilson getting injured. I mean, that's such a Jets thing to happen, right? I mean, to have your starting quarterback end up coming down, with an injury, and I'm pretty sure we're not going to see Zach Wilson anymore until week 1, if it's nothing serious. You also had like some really good talented receivers out there, man. I seen Griffin, he made a couple catches. He had 2 catches for 25 yards. So I mean, I've seen some things out of New York Jets. Also, man, just out of Philadelphia Eagles as well. But man, that nasty hit Jalen Hurts took on the sidelines by that linebacker. That's the kind of stuff that just makes you think like, man, do I really want to put my starting quarterback out there for a guy, that's trying to do everything that he can to make sure that he isn't working at 24-hour fitness in a couple weeks. So that's the kind of things that you face, right? Going up against guys who are trying to do everything they can to try to make an NFL roster. And sometimes, these guys can go over the top with it. And it might cost you your starting quarterback or somebody else at a skill position that you need to be out there to help you win. Tough. I like being on this page because you see my comments. It's not much people. It's not much people on this channel. Yeah, man, pretty much the same people. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as like the commenting, a lot of people that check out the State of the Saints podcast, they don't comment. Like we've reached we probably average over 100,000 people like per week watching this show. You know what I'm saying? So, but you have like a nice little sample size of individuals who comment. But there's a lot of people that watch this show every single week. It's just they don't comment. But I appreciate you for being here. He says, you ready to see Olave? Yeah, I'm ready to see Chris Olave. I think that they're probably going to have him out there for a few snaps just to try to give him some experience. I can only imagine the nerves of a guy who's a rookie and you're going to play your first NFL game, regardless if it counts or not in this exhibition. Still, I mean, I guarantee you, you got the nerves, right? The butterflies in your stomach to walk out there to finally have that fleur de lis on your helmet and your name on the back of your jerseys, right? Not for photography, you know what I'm saying, but actually being spatted up, you know what I'm saying, taped up to go out there and catch some passes and play the game. I mean, I can only imagine how that feels, man. But you have to be excited for those rookies, those young players out there to get that opportunity. And I would like to see what he can do, but I don't want to see, too much of him. I'd rather wait for the regular season. TJ, what's happening? How many starters are you expecting to see? I think you're going to see I think you're going to see a few guys. I don't think you're going to see like too many. I don't think you're going to see too many. You're not going to see Cam Jordan. I mean, I haven't looked at any like start them, sit them type reports, but I know you're not going to see Cameron Jordan. You're not going to see Demario Davis. If you do, I'll be shocked. You're probably not going to see you're not going to see Alvin Kamara. You're not going to see Michael Thomas. And I would be how if you see Jarvis Landry, it's probably going to be for one series or two, but you're probably going to see somebody like David Onyemata. You're probably going to see some guys on the offensive line, probably for the exception of Ramczyk. I think you're going to see everybody. You're going to see Trevor Penny. You're going to see James Hurst. You're going to see Ethan Greenidge. You're going to see Cesar Ruiz. You're going to see, you're pretty sure you're going to see Eric McCoy as well for maybe like a series or two. But I don't think you're going to see like a Marshawn Lattimore. You're probably going to see Paulson Adebo. But I don't think you're going to see like the creme de la creme of New Orleans Saints. I think you're going to see maybe a few guys. But like I said, Jarvis Landry, you might see him for a series or two. I'm pretty sure you're going to see Chris Olave to give him an opportunity. You're probably going to see, Callaway. You're going to see Hardy. You're going to see Meredith. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see Merritt. You're going to see guys like that. But I don't think you're going to see guys like Cameron Jordan and Mario Davis. If they put them out there, I would be wondering what the hell are they thinking? Have those guys out there. Like Cameron Jordan does not need to play a preseason at all. Currently on Keeping It Real, Who That Sports Podcast. Well, man, shouts out to those brothers, man. Shouts out to that channel over there. Let's see. I'm just happy football is back. B-Mac, Be Kind, giving shouts out. Says, I'm just happy that Jerry's back. What's up, Who That? Moderators, what's up? I'm enjoying preseason. I mean, yeah, man. I mean, football is back. I mean, regardless if you're a fan of any of the teams that you're watching, you have to be excited about football and having football back. I'm excited about it because, I mean, I just like football altogether. And it's also good to see like some of these players, man, see some of these new faces on new teams. And also, man, be able to see some guys, man, go rise from the ashes and make some of these teams. Like I was watching that Atlanta Falcons Detroit Lions game. And one of the main reasons I'm watching it, you know what I'm saying, mostly one, because I like football. And another thing, I've made some commitments to join some of the Atlanta Falcon podcast groups or whatever like that, you know, to be a part of their podcast, you know, coming up. So I want to make sure I kind of know what's going on with them. Of course, we know that you don't really follow other teams more than your actual team. So I was just checking out, you know, saying some of the Atlanta Falcons, looking at some of the competition. But the Detroit Lions fans, man, they played in Detroit. I mean, they were excited. They were loud. It seemed like they were into it. And, you know, it makes you just want a team like the Detroit Lions to do something. But it's unfortunate that they end up losing a game the same way they lost a lot of their games last season, which is like in the last 2 minutes of the game, Desmond Ridder, throws up, a Hail Mary prayer. The ball was like floating in the air. The fact that nobody was around that football and that ball didn't come up intercepted and it just landed smack dab in the hands of the tight end. It's so Detroit Lions, you know what I'm saying? But the fans are really excited about their team and they want something to cheer for, man. So it was good to actually like see football and hear the fans and stuff like that and be in attendance. So, football is definitely back, and those are the exciting moments about football. Just tuning in, hoping I haven't missed too much. Also, love stumbling across the live SOTS pod. Well, yeah, man. Appreciate you being here, Eugene. You ain't really missed nothing. We just talking Saints football. We talking about preseason football in general and what we're looking for from the Saints on Saturday's game. Ask Zach Wilson if staying healthy is more important part of preseason games. Well, look, Eugene, look, you're damn if you do, damn if you don't. I know some teams we look at, we're like, man, why did they let this dude start? But hindsight is 2020. Like, think about this. And I'm knocking on wood when I say this, but I have to be real, right? What if Chris Olave goes out there, right? We want to see Chris Olave play, right? It's his first game. But let's just say if he ends up getting hurt. Like, will we get mad at the Saints organization? I wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? Because I understand you're trying to get this guy some snaps. You're trying to get this guy some reps, right? So, it's the same thing with Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson didn't knock anybody's socks off, and he wasn't balling to a point where you just see you think that he needs to be on the sideline. This isn't Joe Burrow we talking about here. Even Trevor Lawrence made a few plays in a game versus the Cleveland Browns. So you have these young quarterbacks when first year, second year, you're going to see them in preseason games. I'm not mad at them. It's just unfortunate that it happened, and it just seems like it would just be something that would happen with the Jets. But I'm not going to criticize them for doing that because this happens all the time. Like anytime we talk about a player and they end up getting hurt, why are they out there? Why are they out there? But well, you're trying to get that guy some reps. Is anybody going to update the game tomorrow night? The preseason game. I don't know about updating, but I will be here for the post game show. I'll be here. We gonna do it the same way. Every game after every Saints game, we're gonna do a post game show. We're gonna talk about it and talk about some of the things that we saw, man. So we're gonna be doing it just like we do it every single year. Who that? TJ, why does the analytics often contradict the eye test? Then you asked me that before. I think you asked me that last show, Keynote. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, sometimes we look at we look at certain things and we go by what we see. If a guy has a bad performance, then that's what we saw. Like if the person like probably throwing incomplete passes or something like that, and then you turn around and look at a QBR, his QBR is high or something like that. If they're in the thick of things late in the fourth quarter or something, you're like, man, you know what I'm saying? That don't seem right. I mean, sometimes like plays that we think are bad may not be that bad. And plays that we think good may not be that good. It's almost like Malik Willis, right? Malik Willis, man. I was watching that Titans game yesterday night. If you're watching this live on a Friday night, the Thursday night game, I mean, Malik Willis looked damn good, right? Scrambling out there in the pocket, throwing passes down the field to a former LSU Tiger, former Etna Carr, McMath, right? I'm like, man, this man out here balling. But he ended up getting pulled, you know what I'm saying, by head coach Mike Vrabel because Mike Vrabel wanted him to throw the football, right? But we thought, I was like, man, that man out here balling, right? So sometimes, like, what we look at may not be a good thing. In the eyes of the coaches and the eyes of, the eye in the sky that's actually filming it may not be the best, So, I mean, sometimes that happens. Is there one particular player that you are looking forward to seeing tomorrow night in this year's rookie class, TJ? No, not really. I'm really not looking. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing every player out there get their opportunity. I'm also looking at to see if some of the guys that have been on this team that have probably been like kind of middle of the pack. I want to see if these guys can actually emerge. I also want to see if maybe some of these guys that they got and signed are as advertised, right? I guess if we're talking about rookies, I would say Abram Smith, right? I mean, you give him a big deal considered what you would give to most undrafted rookie free agents, right? I would like to see what he can actually do. I'm pretty sure you're probably going to see him late third quarter, something like that. But as far as rookies, no, there's not anybody I'm just looking for in particular. I'm just looking for guys to get the opportunity and take advantage of it. What's up, TJ? How you doing tonight? I'm doing fine, man. Doing just fine. I'm excited about football being back and excited about this the Saints playing on tomorrow. Keeping it real, Who That Podcast said hello, everyone. Well, man, shouts out to him, Jerry. Let's see. Multiple blue check mark folks on Twitter reporting Jets team doctors are fearing ACL tear for Wilson. Oh, man. That's terrible right there. That's unfortunate. But unfortunately, that's football, man. It happens sometimes. You don't know. I don't blame the Jets, even though I know the New York media are gonna do that because that's them, right? Why is he out there? Why is he out there? Like, I don't like what bothers me is not like people reporting things. It's when they know for a fact like they want to start some problems. Like that's what I don't like. I don't like media that looks for problems and just exploit problems and just make it like, man, I'm mad at this and you should be mad too. Like I'm not mad at this. Like I hate to say it like this, but if Zach Wilson was the going into the season, he was the starting quarterback of the New Orleans Saints and he ended up getting injured, I wouldn't blame Dennis Allen for that. The dude is young, he's inexperienced. You have an offense, a bunch of new guys on this team, and you need to be able to develop some level of chemistry with him. So I understand that. It's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate that it happened in an exhibition game. But you had several other second-year players that have played and nothing happened, right? It just so happened it was the luck of the draw for the New York Jets. But I'm not. I don't think that was a bad idea. But I'm pretty sure that's what the storylines are going to be. Should he have played in the game? Should you have starters in the preseason? Man, it's the same thing. Like if you look at the storylines in the realms of time when it comes to like football, it's the same storylines every single year. Preseason, should you have your starters out there? Do they have too many preseason games? Then in the regular season, you know what I'm saying? Like, who on the hot seat? And then at the end of the season, you know what I'm saying? This coach get fired on Black Monday or whatever. And then all of a sudden, this coach get hired, They ain't got enough black coaches. Who the black coaches that gonna get hired? It's the same thing over and over again, every single year, rinse and repeat. But at the beginning of the season, there's always a high-profile star player who ends up getting injured and being out for the foreseeable future. And the question is always asked: Are there too many preseason games, or should you start your starters in preseason? Same old thing, same old song and dance. What up, TJ? Do you think with the competition battles, will the Saints outshine in the preseason? I'll be honest with you, Caesar. I don't care, man. I don't care if they shine in the preseason. What I do care about, once again, is execution, and I encourage everybody to look for execution more so than anything else. Like, yeah, we want the Saints to win. I want them to win every game, but I don't care if they win tomorrow or Saturday, rather. I don't care if they win or not. I just care about the execution. If it just so happened, because let's just be real about this. Around the third and fourth quarter, most of the guys that you seeing on the team aren't going to be on the team, right? So you're going to see some sloppy football. You're going to see some guys out there bad tackling, bad catching, bad passes, bad running, bad blocking. You're just going to see it, right? So I would want to see some execution, right? So if it just so happened that they execute and they do things better more times than not, and it translates into a win, cool. But if I see some good things out there, some good strong points, and they end up losing, I'm okay with that too. Much love, TJ and the Who Dat Nation. You need to come on Hoodie Jube channel, bro. Yeah, I plan on going on there soon. But the thing about it is, it's like when most of the time when I'm doing the show, he's probably doing the show too. So I mean, it's kind of like a conflict when it comes to that. Or if he asks me to come on the show, it's probably I'm probably doing something, on that particular night, or I can't be able to get to it. So, but I plan on being on the show. I plan on coming on there. And he does a really good job over there. Do you think Callaway will make the final 53? Yeah, I think he'll make the final 53. I don't think honestly, I don't think he is as good as people making him out to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, I think he average. I think he average receiver. But if it came down to, like, this may sound crazy, but if it came down to Tre'Quan Smith and Marquez Callaway, Tre'Quan Smith gonna make the team. I mean, as many people don't like Tre'Quan Smith, the Saints favor him over Callaway, because if you're gonna have a mediocre receiver and a guy that's like middle of the pack, I'd rather have a guy that's middle of the pack that can do something better than the other guy that's middle of the pack. And Tre'Quan Smith has that, right? I mean, Marquez Callaway has had an opportunity to be a starter on his team and be the top guy, and he really didn't take advantage of the opportunity, right? He was up and down. He'll make a good play. He'll drop a pass. He'll make a good play. He'll drop a pass. He'll drop an easy pass, catch a complicated pass. I mean, I don't know, man. Let me see. Do you think Ram should be Winston's blindside left tackle? No, I do not. You have Trevor Penny. You got James Hurst. And both of those guys, to me, can be adequate enough to be left tackle. You leave Ryan Ramczyk where he at and let the chip fall where they may. TJ, actually take the time to read the comments and give the show a family feel. Man, that's kind of like what I'm looking for. I tell people all the time, the whole reason why I created this show was to give people a voice. I see a lot of these shows where the host tries to put themselves over, about the knowledge that they have, the ability that they have. There's a level of cockiness, a level of arrogance. And then you have when they have people calling in. This is my biggest issue. When people actually be calling in, you got people that actually screen the calls. Like if you ever call like your favorite sports show, right? There's always a person that you talk to first. And then they ask you what's your name, where you're from, right? And then they say what you got to say, right? So they screen the calls. So they write down what you say, and the host or the co-host or the host by themselves actually knows what direction you actually going in. So they know if they said something in the middle of the show that you're going to possibly debate them about that, or they know that you're going to agree with them, right? So what do you think they're going to select? Oh, the person that agree with them to put themselves over. Oh, you're so knowledgeable, you're so smart, you're so great, you're so wonderful, right? And then if a person start making too much sense, more so than them, and all of a sudden here come the producer turning down the phone line, you know what I'm saying, so the host can talk louder. I mean, that's something that I just feel like is not a good thing. I mean, I feel like the most important person is the viewer, the listener of the show. And if you're not giving them a voice, what's the point of you having a show? Now, you do have some people that try to put themselves over, talk way too long, talk about a whole bunch of nothing. But it's cool, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, for every one of those individuals, you got somebody that just, has something to say. So that's what I feel like shows need to be about. Like, if you're on the air for 4 hours, right? I mean, nobody's going to talk more than you for 4 hours, right? So give a person the opportunity to be able to get their point across. But some people that, if you ever been in radio broadcasting, like people have egos, man. Like it's a very competitive world. There's a lot of pettiness. There's a lot of arrogance. There's a lot of like, what I'm saying, a lot of envy that goes on. And if you'll be surprised, man. You'll be very surprised at like how how many envious and jealous people they have doing this. TJ, what would you give up for Roquan Smith? I'm not willing to part with any of the core. And you had to give up like a second round pick for that dude. To be honest with you, a second round pick and you'll probably have to give up like a second round pick and somebody like Paulson or Debo for something like that. To be honest with you. Are we going to see Alvin Kamara week 1 opening day? Yeah, I strongly believe we're going to see him. TJ, do you watch college football? Yes, I do. I watch college football a lot. Watch all the high profile games. Of course, I watch all the Jackson State games. For the last couple of years, we've been on TV every week. So that's a plus, especially when you're living out in South Carolina. But yeah, I definitely watch college football. They should give Ian Book and KJ Costanzo majority of the snaps in preseason. Andy Dalton only a few snaps. Dana, that's probably what you're gonna see anyway. That's what you're gonna see anyway. That's probably why they got. Well, ain't no probably. That's the reason why they got Costanzo, for him to be able to go the distance. So you can have a guy out there to throw the ball to some of the players and don't risk your backup quarterback plans too much. Why they keep saying Mike T hasn't been playing football in 2 years? It was actually 1 year. Well, if you look at it, he hasn't really played football since January of 2021, maybe, right? You know what I'm saying? Like that's when the Saints lost in the divisional round versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So January to January 2022, that's a year. And then I guess all the way to August is almost 2 years. You can say that. So I guess they're looking at it from a football seasonal standpoint, but you can say it's almost been 2 years, man. It's been almost like a year and like 7 months, 8 months almost, that he didn't play football. So yeah, it's almost 2 years. TJ, are you expecting to see Jarvis? Yeah, I expect to see him for a few snaps. Not like deep into the second quarter, but I expect for him to be out there. I expect for him to be out there because he does not have the experience of, playing in a Saints system. He even talked about the complexity of the Saints offense and how it's like one of the most complex offenses that he ever been a part of. So when you hear guys like that, you're probably going to see him out there on the field. TJ, I know one thing. Tre'Quan better get 100 yards tomorrow to have a chance at not being an extra right tackle. Look, I think Tre'Quan Smith have a stronger chance to make the team, and it's going to sound crazy, but I think Tre'Quan Smith got a better chance to make the team than Deontay Hardy and Marquez Callaway. I know we give this dude a hard time, but based on what I've heard, like behind the scenes, like talking to some of the reporters for the Saints, talking to some of like the personnel from the Saints, dude looked like he gonna make the team, and it looked like he got a stronger chance to make the team than both of those dudes. I'm just the messenger, man. I'm just telling y'all what's been told to me. Let's see. And then the thing about it, back to Tre'Quan Smith before I get to no cap, no filter. A lot of people don't realize this. Like, Tre'Quan Smith isn't a bad receiver. He's just a bad receiver based on what we want as far as expectations is concerned. Like, everybody is not going to be a number one receiver. I think the way we looked at Tre'Quan Smith makes us think or make us say he's not very good. But in the realm of how you want him to be, he's not that bad. Like, looking at Tre'Quan Smith to replace Michael Thomas, that's not good, right? Looking at Tre'Quan Smith as a third and a fourth receiver, that's not that bad. That's not that bad because he averages 5 touchdowns per season, maybe 500 yards per season, right? 500-600 yards. That's not bad for a fourth or fifth string receiver. I'm just saying, it's just the expectations of a Tre'Quan Smith and what we expect of him, right? When Michael Thomas went down, and then you ain't have no number two. Everybody like, oh man, he's supposed to be a number two. But now you got Thomas, now you got Landry, now you got Olave. Are you looking at Tre'Quan Smith the same way? No. So if you have Michael Thomas making plays, Jarvis Landry making plays, Chris Olave, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, here comes Tre'Quan Smith, with a 40-yard bomb down the field from Jameis Winston, or he catch a touchdown in the red zone. I mean, that's extra. So I just think that based on how we're looking at him now, I wouldn't mind having him on the team because there are not many expectations for him. Expectations aren't very high for Tre'Quan Smith. So I wouldn't mind having him on the team for what he can actually do, especially in a running game, blocking on the outside. And also we know that, he can catch a couple passes, to move the chains every now and then. So I'm not mad at that. So if he can make the team as a fourth or fifth receiver, I wouldn't mind having him. Left tackle position worry me the most. I really hope Ram takes over the position. Guards worry me because Pete and Ruiz pass blocking along with Winston, not a get the ball out quick quarterback and immediate. Well, here's the thing, that's the reason why guys train. That's the reason why guys develop. And that's the reason why, year after year, we see guys improve. Look, here's the reality of the thing. Here's the reality. I know we look at Teron Armstead and we look at him being gone, but let's look at this realistically. Teron Armstead averaged 4 or 5 games missed per year. So it's 4 or 5 games that you've seen the left tackle position being played by somebody else. And I have yet to see the left tackle position look just absolutely slow to a point where I'm like, man, this offensive line suck, man. This dude just getting breezed past every single time. I mean, James Hurst has come in and has replaced Teron Armstead and has done an adequate job. And then you have a guy like Trevor Penning. We haven't seen this dude actually play yet. So how in the world can we just say that it's all gloom and doom? And then you also have guys like, on the offensive line, like Eric McCoy, Cesar Eads, like we don't know if how much better these dudes have gotten. We're just looking at it like, oh man, they didn't do this last year. Oh man, we ain't got this person. I don't know, man. Like I have yet to see the Saints like left tackle position just look absolutely hot garbage to a point where I'm just like looking like all hope is lost. The only game where it just kind of stood out over the last couple of years was most of the time it was like backups and you didn't want to get somebody hurt. It was week 17 during this time versus the Carolina Panthers. I want to say that's when Teddy Bridgewater was playing and the Saints got a whole bunch of offensive linemen because they kind of sealed everything. I think there was like the 1 seed or something like that going into to the playoffs. And then the game versus the Miami Dolphins when Ian Book was the quarterback because you had all the people that was out with COVID. But as far as like the offensive line, I ain't seen the offensive line just play just straight up 100% grade A slow from the blind side position, left tackle position like that. You know what I'm saying? I think that James Hurst is a solid left tackle. You know what I'm saying? I think that Trevor Penning, I know that people are just like, man, this dude getting in fights, but the dude is a really good, you know what I'm saying, tackle, and he has the potential to be a really good tackle. And once again, this position has almost been, you know what I'm saying, tackled by committee because we know Teron Armstead, as good as he's been, we know he was going to miss some time. He, like I say, he averages about 4 or 5 games missed per season. So what are you doing for those 4 or 5 games? I mean, Ryan Ramczyk he wasn't playing left tackle then, right? Maybe the Jets could trade us Quan because Warner seems to be injury prone. Next question, man. Next question. Man, like, look, why are we doing this, man? Why are we doing this? And then on top of that, that's not very smart. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest, Tragic. It's not very smart. Why would you replace a guy who you saying is injury prone for a guy that's injury prone? And then on top of that, the dude only played one season. Like, why are we so quick to like just label guys? Why are we so quick to label people? Why are we so quick to say, oh man, he damn is good. Oh man, he can't play. This dude has played one season. And then on top of that, if we being real, he played better than Quan Alexander in his rookie season. Look, here's the question that you need to be asking yourself. This is the question you need to be asking yourself. When Quan Alexander was healthy, why was it that Pete Warner was getting more playing time than him? Some people will say, man, it's because he was a second-round pick. Let me tell y'all something. One person that is not going just allow a player to play because of their draft positioning is Sean Payton. Sean Payton has said this on countless occasions that there are times where teams make mistakes at putting guys in because they have higher draft positionings over the other. He says he prefers not to do this. It's about who's playing better. Because if that's the case, then somebody please tell me why Stanley Jean-Baptiste did not play for the New Orleans Saints the majority of his NFL career. This dude was a second-round pick, and yet the Saints was getting guys off the street. I mean, guys that they signed on Tuesday, and they were playing on the following Sunday or Monday. So the thing about it is, here's the reality. Pete Warner played better than Quan Alexander. And if I'm going to replace a guy who I'm calling injury prone, I'm definitely not going to replace him with somebody that is injury prone. Quan Alexander is injury prone throughout his entire career. You know it. You had an opportunity to see him play twice a season when he was a linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The dude stayed hurt. 49ers, the dude stayed hurt. Last year, everybody, man, Quan Alexander, bring him back, man, bring him back. 5 games to start the season, this dude was injured with a shoulder injury. And yet we supposed to bring him in here because he can shake his red dreads and put a red Solo cup up? What are we doing, man? Quan Alexander, to me, is a good linebacker. But let's just be serious about this. Like, it's not like you can't find his type of production from another linebacker in the linebacker room. Dude is not Ray Lewis. Dude is not Lawrence Taylor. He is not. Sorry. And the thing about it is the reason why we probably think so highly of Quan Alexander, to be real, is because the the linebacker group is so mediocre outside of Demario Davis that anybody that looks or resembles any type of average linebacker that we feel like we need them. Think about this. Name a linebacker that you have seen play lights out outside of Demario Davis over the last 4 to 5 years that you can just be like, man, you know what I'm saying? He was on that level or close to that level. I haven't seen it. So when a guy like Quan Alexander comes in, he can shoot the gap every now and then. You know what I'm saying? He can chase down a running back. Then all of a sudden, like, we feel like we can't live without that. Quan Alexander is injury prone, and Pete Warner played better than him. You can look at it from an analytical standpoint. You can look at it from a film standpoint. And if you probably didn't pay attention to it, it's because you love yourself Quan Alexander, and you probably found yourself looking for Quan throughout the game, so you probably weren't looking at what Pete Warner was doing. Pete Warner's personality is not one of those charismatic personalities. He ain't shaking his hair in the locker room. He ain't running through the smoke. He ain't grittying. He ain't doing none of this stuff that we like after games that we just feel like we need in a football player. But the dude does what he needs to do. The dude has had a few nicks or whatever, but it's not even a regular season yet. So how do we know that this dude is injury prone? He played pretty much almost, you know what I'm saying, every game for the exception of the games that he wasn't going to start anyway because they was going to put Quan in. But here's the reality. He started to get better in his opportunities. When he got them, the Saints realized, hey, man, he playing better than Quan, and they replaced him. So, no, you're not. I'm not going to replace a linebacker who I consider injury prone for a guy who's injury prone. TJ Wilson, initial reports and evaluations on his knee says ACL should be intact. Well, I hope this dude can come out there and play, man. I hope this dude can come out there and play. I don't want to see nobody get hurt. Me, I'm the one that don't like Smith. Look, you don't have to like him. But like I said, I mean, look, based on like the position, being a fifth receiver, I wouldn't mind having him on the team. I'm not looking for him to make the play to win the game. The reason why we looking at Tre'Quan like this is simple. We're looking at him to be the player to win the game, to make the play. You know what I'm saying? So if we're looking at him compared to that, yeah. But I'm not looking at him that way anymore because that's not what we need. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can be a part of a supporting cast. So I don't look at him the same way. Based on him being a supporting cast member, wouldn't mind having him on the team. Going to have them turkey nets and red beans on the stove for my Saints on Saturday, preseason or not. That sounds pretty good, man. Keynote, thank you very much for the $2. Says TJ, would you be able to pay CJ Gardner-Johnson and Roquan? Probably not. Probably not, but I mean, these are the Saints, so maybe some other teams couldn't, but but I don't know, man. That's a tall task, you know, signing Tre'Quan Smith. I mean, the biggest issue is the dude want to get paid. So, or do you have enough money on the salary cap to get paid? I mean, you can trade for him, but if you're going to trade for him, you're going to, you know that you're going to need to try to work out a contract deal, negotiation with him. Tonight was the debut of Deshaun Watson with the Cleveland Browns preseason game. Yeah, I saw that, man. Some fans was like chanting some very explicit things at him. But hey, man, I ain't even getting into that because every time I talk about Deshaun Watson, people like to misquote me and all that kind of stuff there. I ain't into all that. Who cares, man? Nobody, like, the reality is nobody knows you personally. Nobody knows how you interact with people. Nobody knows your background. So it's kind of amazing to me how individuals, when you have a certain point of view, how they label you. So for those individuals, I say this very, very serious, and with my whole heart, they can go to hell. Let's see. This team stacks and physical has all the ingredients. Winston is people's scapegoat. If everything was exactly the same and you switch Brady and Winston, a media and casual perception of both teams and roster changes. But that's just the way that it goes, man. Those are the breaks. You know what I'm saying? Those are the breaks. That's just the way it goes. One guy's a legendary quarterback with 7 Super Bowls, and one guy is known for being a turnover machine. I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Just the way that it goes. And you're probably right. If Tom Brady was the quarterback of the Saints, then the Saints probably would be Super Bowl contenders right now in the eyes of the public. I believe Hardy brings more value than Tre'Quan. Yeah, I mean to us, but who knows what the coaches feel about it. I mean, some people might look at Tre'Quan as a bigger body receiver, you know what I'm saying, who has some speed, who helps out in the running game, who, what I'm saying, who has a really good third down conversion rate. And then you have a guy who is Deontay Hardy, who's fast. You get behind the defense and catch the ball, but I mean, he's hurt most of the time. You know what I'm saying? Like he's small. You might, smaller guys, have a tendency of kind of being, looked at or being left out, because they feel like one big hit on them, you might be out for a while. So, I mean, it depends on how the coaches look at him, though. But I guarantee you, man, the coaches on the Saints team look at Tre'Quan a completely different way than we as everyday individuals look at him. I mean, if that was the case, he wouldn't be on the team right now. We can win with Winston and this team. Matt Stafford, Eli Manning, Nick Foles, and Flacco are a prime example. Just got to stay healthy and a little luck and get hot in the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think any of those guys are bad. You know what I'm saying? Like Eli Manning is not bad. Matthew Stafford, I definitely don't think he's bad. Nick Foles, when he played for Philadelphia, he's not bad. And then you have Joe Flacco, who, for some apparent reason, has an out-of-body experience every time he hit the playoffs. But all those guys, were solid quarterbacks and had good moments where they actually led drives and had some really good games. And Jameis Winston is the same way. But Jameis Winston, I don't know how Jameis Winston, like, I just think that people just look at Jameis Winston as being weird. Like, they look at like some of his his workouts and stuff like that, and they're like, what's the point of him working out like that and using that type of equipment? Like all his facial expression where it look like, his eyes about to pop out his head. And I just think that people like just find that funny, saying like he's a I don't think that sometimes in some cases he intentionally tries to be funny. I just think people just look at him as being like an all shucks type guy. And, it don't help that he's from Alabama. You know what I'm saying? Alabama has like a reputation for, being kind of slow-witted and aloof. And I just think that you kind of combine that with the fact that, he throws interceptions, because I'm like, man, you look at some of these major sports shows and it's like, man, this dude can't play at all. Like he just god awful. Like you hear these people, well, what about Jameis? What about Jameis? What is Jameis going to like Jameis can't do nothing, but I just think that that's one of the reasons why, what I'm saying, because of all the other things. I don't even think it's so much about his quarterback play. I agree, TJ. We just need to lower expectations of Tre'Quan. He just needs to be a fourth receiver. Yeah, I just think that you have to look at what you're asking him to do. It's just sometimes like when we label somebody, you know what I'm saying? We say, "Oh, you're not smart." Like we'll say something like, "Man, you're not smart." Maybe the person is not smart in a certain or knowledgeable of the subject or the subject matter that you're trying to get to them. But if you talk about something else, they probably be extremely knowledgeable in it. I just think that there's levels. There's levels to that, right? I think when we start talking about wide receivers, I think sometimes like when guys go down and we hear the next man up type thing, we just feel like, oh, the next man up. So this person who gave us this much production, he's out. So this person right here should give us something like that. But that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? These players are not created equal, right? There's a reason why guys start. There's a reason why guys are backup. There's a reason why guys get the majority of the snaps and some guys don't. There's going to be a drop off. And I just think that based on what we've been asking of Tre'Quan Smith over the last 3 years is to be opposite of Michael Thomas. If Michael Thomas is being doubled and he normally gets 120 yards, well, those 120 yards need to belong to you. But everybody is not like that. But that doesn't mean that there's not a place for you in the National Football League. Doesn't mean that, you can't play. This means that what we're asking you to do may be a little bit too much for you to handle. But if you asking me that if Tre'Quan Smith can be a foot string wide receiver on the Saints, I'm gonna say yeah. Let's see. So basically, TJ, you're saying Tre'Quan is icing on the cake. No, I'm not saying he icing on the cake. Icing on the cake belongs to ones and twos, right? You know what I'm saying? Michael Thomas is the cake. Jarvis Landry is the icing. And then you have Chris Olave, who probably the decorations of the cake. And then you probably got some little confetti or, you know what I'm saying, some gumdrops that might go around the cake. That's you know what I'm saying? That's like Tre'Quan. So no, he is not. You know, I don't think he's the icing on anything. I just think that, you know, he's not, you know what I'm saying? He's not the cake. You're not looking at the cake. You're not looking at the icing. But, you know, people are like, oh, man, look at the gumdrops right there, man. That's cool right there. That's a nice touch. You know what I'm saying? Like, but no, he's definitely not the icing on the cake. That belongs to guys like Olave and Landry. Andrews PPs be on top of your game this year. Maybe. If the Saints run the football, I think you'll probably see, and I don't think you'll probably have that much of a problem with him. The problem with Tre'Quan is when he comes in as a fourth option in a must-produce situation, he disappoints. Meanwhile, Hardy and Callaway come in and produce. Too many times Tre'Quan turns over on downs. I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. I can't say I agree with that. I can't. The thing about it is what we've asked Tre'Quan to be. Like this like I said before, Tre'Quan is more like the extra in a movie or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not the main character. Like how many movies have we saw? How many extras can you tell me that you saw in the movie that stood out to you? You can't. The thing about it is it's the perception of, you know what I'm saying, of how we see Tre'Quan Smith. The reason why we're blaming Tre'Quan Smith and saying all these things about him is because of the expectations. When Michael Thomas went down, everybody was looking at who? Tre'Quan Smith. Tre'Quan Smith just was not that guy. He just wasn't. So if Michael Thomas leaves the game, Tre'Quan is supposed to be your number two. He's being double covered and all that kind of stuff there most of the time. Then guess what? The other guys are going to make plays. And then on top of that, the reason why we get so angry is because we want him to be that guy, but he is not that guy. Now what happens when he is not that guy? Does you make you like, think about this. Who are you getting more frustrated with if they don't make plays? At this particular point, on Friday, August 12th, who are you going to get more upset with, right, for not making plays? Will you get more upset at Chris Olave or Tre'Quan Smith at this particular time? Most people are probably going to say Chris Olave. Who are you going to get more upset with if they don't make a play? Jarvis Landry or Tre'Quan Smith? Most people are going to say Jarvis Landry. Michael Thomas or Tre'Quan Smith? Now, eliminate Olave, Landry, and Thomas. If they don't make a play, who are you more upset about not making a play? Deontay Hardy or Tre'Quan Smith? I mean, it's a pecking order. So now that you have those three guys, 1, 2, and 3, right? We're not looking at Callaway the same way we looked at him last year. We're not looking at Hardy the same way or Tre'Quan. So it's different. It's levels to this. And Tre'Quan, like I said, if you're looking at him as a fourth or fifth receiver on this depth chart, I wouldn't mind having him on the team because I'm not expecting for him to go out there. You probably have to have at least 2 or 3 injuries to happen in a wide receiver position for us to really start looking at, man, the whole Tre'Quan Smith steps up today. If Tre'Quan Smith catches a pass in the middle of the second quarter or the third quarter for a deep pass for a 45-yard play, it's just extra. You're not expecting for him to go out there and do it again. It just, Olave was covered, Thomas was covered. Here, you know what I'm saying? Or somebody out of the lineup. Here comes him catching a pass 45 yards up the field. I don't feel the same way about Tre'Quan Smith's production today as I did last year. I mean, I don't know who would. It's to a point. I mean, we can really literally have shows without even mentioning Tre'Quan Smith. What people don't realize is Quan doesn't choose us because he wanted to start, and he will on the Jets. He's betting on himself and staying healthy and balling out to get one last decent contract before his contract is up. Well, look, he can bet on himself, but look, he can bet on himself all he wants to. But from what I seen and what the coaches seen, Pete Warner beat him out for that starting position. And people can say, oh, man, he was a second-round pick, what you expect. But once again, Sean Payton don't operate like that. He just don't. If a guy's not good enough, he ain't going to put him out there. He just not. He's not going to put him out there just because he drafted a guy. And I think that's the best way you need to do it. Tre'Quan is better than Callaway, has been more consistent. Meredith and Dixon also have been better. Yeah, man, look. I think when it comes to, I don't even think they, to me, if you want to be real, I think they pretty even. You know what I'm saying? When you think about Callaway and Tre'Quan, I just think that Tre'Quan possesses certain blocking abilities that you actually need the way the Saints offense is structured. And I think that is suitable for the Saints. And then on top of that, once again, I just think that the Saints like him more. They just do. It's not about what we think. I'm sorry. It's not about what we think. Who cares if we don't like Tre'Quan Smith? Who cares if TJ Jones don't like him? Who cares? It's about what the coaches think. They like him. And I'm going to be everything that was told to me, everything that is being said tells me that Tre'Quan Smith has the one up over both of those individuals. More than Hardy, more than Callaway. That's what's been told to me as far as performance, as far as how the coaches look at him. That's what's being said. I think us as Saints fans, we fall in love with Quan because he shakes his dreads and runs around like a gorilla when he makes a good play. Lastly, he went to LSU, also hit the like button. Yeah, I mean, all those things are something that I feel like adds to it. I mean, I'm just confused, man. I'm wondering if the Saints had Lawrence Taylor, or Ricky Jackson, or something back out there or something. I don't know. I mean, I like Quan Alexander, but I just don't think he was as good as everybody making him out to be. I don't. Do I think he a good linebacker? Yes. But do I feel like, the Saints gonna be defense is gonna be trash without him? We hopeless? No, I don't. Now, if it was the Mario Davis was talking about or something like that, then maybe I have a bigger issue, but I don't. What y'all know about that checkerboard? What up, TJ and the Who Dat fam? Tre'Quan is hurt every year. Nothing new. Well, if he gets hurt this year, we caring it like we used to. What up, keeping it real? Who Dat Sports Podcast. Appreciate your platform and allowing me on once again. Tre'Quan is making the 53. I strongly believe that. Let's keep our comments G-rated, family, unless you're TJ. Well, I'm definitely about to just sit up there and, use none of the real strong words, and I hope there ain't nobody else using those words either, because we don't tolerate that here. There's the other shows for that. I don't roll like that. Got 162 people here right now. Ask that you hit the like button. Devontae Callaway, Humphrey, and other wide receivers have outplayed him. That's interesting. I'm not sure about that because I mean, hold on. Let me pull this up. I need to pull up some Tre'Quan Smith stats here. I mean, last year, what he had 32 receptions, 377 yards, 3 touchdowns. 2020, he had 34 receptions, 448 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Then he had 18 catches, 234, 28, 427. But 18 and 19, he wasn't the number one nor the number two. That belonged to Michael Thomas and Ted Ginn. 34 and 32, I can understand that. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, but it depends. I guess it depends on how you're looking at him, though. I guess it depends on how do you look at what you're asking him to do. Being a fourth or fifth receiver, wouldn't mind having him on the team. Wouldn't mind having him on my team because of some of the things that he actually possessed. Because we know that fourth and fifth string receivers barely get the ball or barely get targets anyway. So what are we actually asking for? We can get a linebacker after teams do their cuts. Exactly. It's not just about, who out there right now. It's about, teams probably have way too many linebackers, may have a linebacker out there that kind of slide through the cracks, because teams probably already loaded at that position. And then not to mention, and we don't know what these other linebackers can do. We don't know this. We don't know if these linebackers are good enough. We just, K. Nellis, Andrew Dodd, like we just look at guys' names and we don't recognize them. We just feel like, we don't recognize them, so therefore they're not good enough. But guys get good every year. Guys get better. And there's always like diamonds in the rough that are out there. Say, TJ, I'm excited for DA's second chance as a head coach. Well, hopefully he can get the job done and it don't end up like his first stint. With that description, TJ, he almost sounds like a black Eli Manning. Basically. Well, I won't say he a black Eli Manning because Eli Manning was, he kind of was, kind of aloof, but he wasn't as like outgoing as Jameis Winston is. Jameis Winston is pretty outgoing. Eli Manning, like, he outgoing, like, I guess, like, depends on what he doing, like on a commercial or something, but he not a rah-rah guy like Jameis is. Jameis in the middle of the huddle, Jameis giving motivational speeches like he Tony Robbins or something. Eli Manning was more like kind of reserved. The biggest thing to me, Jameis learned under Drew was his leadership. You can tell this squad is behind him and rooting for him just as much as most of us are. Well, here's the thing, man. Jameis Winston never had a problem with his leadership. If you've been following Jameis Winston since college, he never really had a problem with his leadership. Guys followed him. Problem was he put too much pressure on himself. And that happens. You know what I'm saying? When you're a leader, you take a lot of the blame and you want like the blame to be on you. And then sometimes, like, when things go wrong, he puts all that pressure on him and he tries to like dig a team out of it, right? Okay, it's almost like water in a boat or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? Coming in a boat and you just trying to get it out. Okay, I can do it as the boat trying to sink. I can get the water out. That's, and sometimes that's not a good thing. Sometimes a leader has to say, okay, man, look, check this out here. Okay, water in the boat. Look, I got it, man, but I need y'all help. You know what I'm saying? Let's get this water out the boat. But him, it's like, get out the way, stand back. I do it. I think that's something that he had to learn from his leadership. Like, you are still a leader, but sometimes a leader has to lead and also be able to facilitate as well. And that's something that he had to learn. But he never had a problem with his leadership, not in my opinion. I always thought he was a good leader. I always thought like guys follow him and I always thought he knew what to say and knew what to do and know how to get guys to react. But, sometimes leaders need to know how to lead a little bit more. There's different ways to lead. I learned this when I was working, as a manager. I was one of those guys that I pride myself on working really hard. But at the same time, I was working hard, but I wasn't really teaching people that was like, what I'm saying, that was, I won't say under me because I don't like using that word, but working alongside me. And, I wasn't really helping them. It was more like, oh, this needs to get done. I'll do it. It's fixed. But I wasn't really teaching or delegating anybody work. It took me to really start delegating work in order for people to like start to see how they can accomplish certain things and how they can get better. And that's when you start to really see your team come together. It's not just about you and your leadership qualities. Sometimes that's not enough. So I think that's something that Jameis needs to work on. So, and I think that, the Saints are trying to, lead them in that direction. I'm just going off the eye test. He just didn't make any impact unless garbage minutes. Michael Thomas was hurt. Tre'Quan should have been wide receiver number one. See exactly. That's my whole point. You make my whole point, Debo. That was my whole point. What you just said. You said Michael Thomas was hurt. Tre'Quan should have been wide receiver number one. So that's the reason why we feel the way we do about Tre'Quan. That is what I'm saying. You have to suspend your thoughts and your views about what you expected him to be. What you are expecting him to be is the reason we feel the same way today about Tre'Quan Smith. We expected him to be a number one receiver because he didn't show us or he didn't exhibit what we thought a number one receiver should be. We just basically, like they say, throw the baby out with the bathwater, which I still don't understand what that means. But anyway, we just completely just throw everything out. And we just we don't need none of that over here. But there are certain things and certain qualities that guys have that teams can use. And that don't mean that they got to go out there and catch 130 some odd yards. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean that they're going to have 10 catches a game. That don't mean that they're going to be who the best receiver in the top receivers is. Here you go, Jamar Chase, Tre'Quan. Nah. Sometimes it doesn't fall like that. Sometimes you need those role players. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you need that guy that's going to spot up for a 3 every now and then if he open. Sometimes you need a guy, you know what I'm saying, that's under the rim, catch a rebound and do a putback. Everybody ain't going to be Jordan. Everybody ain't going to be LeBron. Everybody ain't going to be Ja Morant. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't about to be CJ McCollum. Sometimes you need those guys that are in the trenches that can get you that rebound and that putback every now and then. And you're looking at Tre'Quan Smith and what you're asking of him in 2022, I feel like he's good enough to do what we are thinking that he can do as far as a 4th and a 5th receiver is concerned. I'm not looking for him to take over a game. I know that's probably what you're thinking. When the Saints were down at the wide receiver position, every single Saints fan out there was looking at number 10 to be like, man, maybe this the game Tre'Quan to go for 100. But it just wasn't it. It just wasn't it. And I can't, I'm not going to say that because how many of us played basketball, played football, and maybe we were a primary target. Maybe we were a guy that caught everything. But you ever had that one guy on a team, if you being covered, here he is. He ain't about to catch too many passes. He ain't about to, you know what I'm saying, get too many targets. But he get the ball. He might get a first down. You know what I'm saying, a couple pats. There you go, man. There you go, bro. And then we going right back to the playmakers, right? Everybody, how many guys have you probably played with on the park? You know what I'm saying? You probably had a nice little jumper. Your teammate over here probably had a nice little jumper. He probably a little bit taller than you. You can catch a rebound. But then you had that little scrappy guy out there. You know what I'm saying? Probably ain't good as everybody else. Probably out there for the cardio and probably the camaraderie in the labs. But if you miss a wide open shot, he catch a rebound, put it right back. And guess what? You know what I'm saying? Your team up by 2. Guess what? Your team up by, you know what I'm saying? Your team won the game. It happens, right? Everybody is not going to be the player to win the game for you. That's just the way it is. My expectations of Tre'Quan Smith are completely different this year than it was last year. So I can really just evaluate this dude based on the type of player that he is. You know what he is. I know what he is. So if you're comparing him to the likes of a Michael Thomas and should be giving you Michael Thomas production, he'll never live up to that. Winston saw Drew as perfect, but Drew wasn't perfect. He just made what he had work and not over-improvise. That's what Winston needs to learn. I don't think Winston needs to be Drew Brees. Drew Brees did what works for him. Jameis needs to do what works for him and also be able to, cut back on some of the things that got him in those bad positions. I just Jameis Winston is not a bad quarterback. It's just certain things that he did in certain moments. You just wonder to yourself, why did he do it? As far as arm talent and arm ability, he's better than Drew Brees. He has better arm talent and better arm ability than Drew Brees. Drew Brees was a better decision maker than he was. But I just think that the Saints can actually, the Saints offense can go further with Jameis and his ability and skill set than it could even with Drew. if he can put it all together. But I don't think that he needs to be Drew Brees because he's not, and he can't be. But it's no problem because not many other quarterbacks in the league can be Drew either. Who that family? I'm late. I already know I missed a lot. Hope y'all doing well today. Let's go and handle business tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, look, I said this at the beginning of the show. I said this at the beginning. I'm not looking to win the game. I don't care about winning. I just care about execution, sound execution. That's what I'm looking for. And no lie, I'd be happy as hell if Tre'Quan goes somewhere else and balls out and goes for like 900, 1,000 yards, and that's not going to happen here. Well, I don't think it's going to happen, and I don't need it to happen. That can be Harder, Callaway, Merritt, or Dixon. Yeah, I mean, it could be. But you also got to think to yourself, he has a 5-year head start over guys like this. He understands the offense. He knows where he needs to be. He knows the offense better than those guys. He ahead of the curve. You know what I'm saying? Like, he ahead of the curve. And I know we don't want to accept that, but it's true. You know? And the thing, and also, like I said, we're not asking him to be a 4th or 5th string. I mean, a first or second string receiver, actually be a 4 or 5. So in that regards, he ahead of the curve. He knows the offense better than all those guys. I don't hate him. I just don't believe in him for the Saints unless we got a wide open Tre'Quan and he drops passes wide open last season. I don't. Did Tre'Quan drop wide open passes last season? Did he drop wide open pass last season? I mean, I remember like one game, I think he ran a wrong route or something like that, and Jameis, got mad at him. But I mean, I remember a couple plays, First play, what I'm saying, against Tampa. Then he catch that nice little fade route at the back of the end zone for the touchdown. Look, man, I ain't trying to sell people on Tre'Quan. What I'm trying to do is put things into perspective. Like, people just want to just completely just throw this dude away. Like, he can't play football in the National Football League at all. All I'm just saying is, based on the positioning of where he would come in 2022, they can have a spot for him on the Saints team. I mean, if we talking about drops, I mean, look, Marquez Callaway dropped a lot of passes too. There was some games where he'll drop a wide open pass and he'll catch a complicated pass. It was like, what was that game? What was that game they played last season? It was like he'll catch a good pass, he'll drop it, then he'll catch a pass where he contest it, and then he'll drop a wide open easy pass. It's what I'm saying, all of them did. All those receivers left a lot to be desired last year. I mean, all of them did. I agree with that, honestly. Just want to see how DA and the coaching staff handles the calls. Yeah. Look, I mean, I just think that it's hard for us to suspend. I won't say suspend our imagination, but it's hard for us to completely reprogram ourselves for what this offense is going to look like and the expectations that we once had for individuals and how that has to change. And once again, it's about what you're asking these guys to do. If we're talking about Michael Thomas, I want you to go out, think about this. I need some yeses and I need some nos. If I ask Michael Thomas, I need you to go out there and get 10 catches for 132 yards. How many of y'all are going to say Michael Thomas can, you ain't going to have to think twice about it. Do you think he can do it? Yes or no? Now, think about this. If you ask Jarvis Landry, Jarvis, I need you to go out here and get at least 5 catches for about 75, 80 yards. How many of y'all think he can do it? If I ask Chris Olave, Chris, I need you to go out there. I need you, to get at least about 3 or 4 catches for about 50 or 60 yards. How many of y'all are going to say, yeah, the Rook can do it? Now, then you start thinking about, okay, Tre'Quan, I need you to go out there and give me one catch for 15. One catch for 20 yards. How many of y'all really think that Tre'Quan Smith can catch one pass for about 15 yards when his number is called late in the third quarter and you seeing the flow and how the game is going? That's what I'm saying. Versus Tre'Quan, man, he needs to have a big game today, man. Need to have a big game. We need to have 6 catches. Need to get that 100 yards. How many of y'all like, nah, man, whatever. It ain't happening, right? You ain't got to think twice about it. You ain't got to think twice about Michael Thomas getting 10 catches. I mean, you ain't got to think twice about Jarvis getting 7, 8 catches, right? So, I mean, it's about what you're asking them to do. It's about what you're asking those individuals to do. So it's not the same. I'm not asking Tre'Quan Smith to move mountains no more. I just need him to, you know what I'm saying, need him to just use this rock shovel and just kind of chip away at it. You know what I'm saying? Throw that rock over here, and then we'll let the big boys carry the bigger rocks. Isn't Carmichael going to be the offensive play caller? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Thank you for the $2. He will be. Mike can do that tomorrow. Exactly. The magic 3 going to make them boys step up. That's all I'm saying. It's about what you're asking those individuals to do. Callaway is slow. That's his main issue. He gets no separation. I don't know, man. I mean, not the fastest guy in the world, but he can make some plays, you know. I mean, we see that he has ability to make some contested catches. It's just inconsistency. Excuse me. 4 out of 5 times Tre'Quan will drop the ball if you need him to get you 15 yards. Man, I don't see where all these Tre'Quan Smith drops coming from. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know about like this man got Orville Redenbacher movie butt on his hand. I don't really see too many. Drops from Tre'Quan Smith. I really don't. Like, I don't see all these drops y'all talking about. Like, maybe not getting off the line of scrimmage when we need them to. Yeah. Having somebody hover all over them and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Not being able to get away from the ball, but just dropping the ball left and right. I don't really see that from Tre'Quan, man. I really don't. He could if his head in the game. Man, get that filth out of the chat. I guess you're talking about that spam. It comes up every now and then. I'm not looking for him to catch a lot. My point is when his opportunity comes, catch the ball. I need to see it, man. I need to know how many drops this dude had. Somebody need to set that reel off or something. I really don't see this man. Like, first off, he don't really get that many targets per game for him to really be dropping passes. What he average like around 3 or 4 targets per game? I don't see it. Like, I don't see this dude missing or dropping a lot of passes. I just don't. I don't see this. Not being a part of the game, yeah. But when they throwing the ball, him dropping it left and right, like a Kevin White, I don't see it. 504, that's not true, TJ. They lying a lot on them. Just don't I like him. I'm just saying, man, I don't really see this dude drop. I mean, I sound like the biggest Tre'Quan Smith sympathizer ever, but I really don't see this dude missing and dropping a lot of passes. I don't. Like, I don't see him being productive when we expect for him to be productive. But as far as like, Tre'Quan wide open, like, I don't really see him miss a lot of passes. But like, second, third quarter, deep into the game, man, what Tre'Quan, he playing today? I can see myself saying that. But dropping passes, I don't know, man. I understand you not watching him. I pay attention. I don't know. I mean, I like to say that I watch my fair share of Saints footage. I don't know. I don't see him dropping a lot of passes. Dude average about 3 or 4 catches per game, 3 or 4 targets a game, I should say. And he probably averaged like 1, 2 catches a game, basically. You know, I don't really see it. I don't know. Somebody need to set off that Tre'Quan Smith drop highlight low light reel then, because I don't really. If you want to say this dude ain't around where you need him at times, you know, okay, whatever. But dropping a bunch of passes, I don't see it. Tre'Quan catches some difficult passes. He has not dropped the ball often at all. The chat is capped. That's what I'm saying. Like, where they at? Where they at though? I seen this dude. This was, man, who hit him? Who hit him, man? It was the dude who act like he was man, what's the dude name? Dude for the Falcons, right? I think it was like a third down, and I want to say Breeze threw Tre'Quan the ball, and I think the dude like bust like Tre'Quan Smith lip, and you know what I'm saying? He had to get stitched. He still caught the pass. Then it was a like pass, man. Drew Brees almost got the man killed by the goal line. And you know, I really don't see this dude dropping a lot of passes. There was a time where, you know what I'm saying, he had like a little stretch where he wasn't coming up with contested catches, but then, you know what I'm saying, he started to go on a little run. I don't know. I ain't seen it. But thank you, Keno, for the $5. I ain't seen too many drops from him. I ain't seen too many drops. I need somebody to set off, tell me a game in particular that you watched where you just seen this man dropping passes left and right. I ain't seen it. I seen him not show up in games, but drops. I'm not a big fan of Tre'Quan, but I know he doesn't drop catches often. Some of them balls were unwatchable from the jump. TJ, remember he got knocked. That's what the one I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, man. Who hit him? Who was the dude that hit him? Somebody know. Man, what's the dude's name? He played for the Cowboys now. I think he played for the Cowboys now. But he swept up and down like he was about that life. Man, what's the dude's name? I'm gonna be mad when somebody give me his name, because I know it. Look, I'm not arguing he drops more than other receivers. I'm arguing that he drops in the most critical points of the game. Let me see. That wasn't Keanu Neal. That wasn't him. That wasn't him. It wasn't him. It was the other guy. It was the other guy. He talked a whole bunch of noise. He was trying to be. It wasn't Keanu Neal. It was not Keanu Neal. That was not the guy. It was the other. No, it wasn't him. Keanu Neal went to the Cowboys, but that's not who I'm talking. It wasn't Deion Jones. What's that dude's name? Casey. Devontae Casey. That's his name. When Casey hit him. Yeah, Casey hit him, and he ended up like busting his lip. But as far as like what we look, man, I understand. Look, when people talk about Tre'Quan Smith, and the criticism is well documented. You know what I'm saying? But people saying he'll come up in crucial parts of the game. Can I interest you in the game versus the San Francisco 49ers? Did he not catch that touchdown that gave the Saints the go-ahead lead? And you know what I'm saying? It wasn't his fault. You know what I'm saying? Like the defense allowed George Kittle to drag him down the field, but he gave the Saints the go-ahead touchdown. Man, there's been a couple of times where Tre'Quan Smith stepped up late in games. You know what I'm saying? The back of the end zone. It was one catch. Matter of fact, it was one pass Drew Brees threw to him. It was against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Drew Brees clearly was about to throw that ball out of bounds, and Tre'Quan Smith caught the pass, you know what I'm saying, kept to his feet in bounds and just caught it. I mean, Drew Brees overthrew him. Man, like, I ain't about, look, if you want to talk about Tre'Quan, like, man, don't create the narrative. The dude actually caught some really crucial passes late in games, you know what I'm saying, whether it be for go ahead touchdowns, sustained drives. It's been times where, you know what I'm saying, like I remember him catching that touchdown right before the half, you know what I'm saying, to get a Saints a lead in a game. I want to say it was on Monday Night Football. Man, I ain't about to let the man just completely just destroy the man like that. Acting like this man threw the ball. Nah, man. Acting like this. Wide open. Tre'Quan. Incomplete. Unbelievable. He missed it. Oh, man. I need some. Look, for me to buy with some of these people, some of y'all selling, man, y'all need to set that highlight reel out. Y'all need to set it off, man. I ain't seen the kid drop them many passes. Not show up in games. I'm with you. But dropping passes left and right to a point where it's just noticeable, nah. He also caught the pass that gave Drew the record. Yeah, I mean, he done a couple of those. He caught the pass to get Drew Brees the record. I want to say he caught the pass to get Drew Brees the completion percentage record. Yeah. I mean, he's been a part of some historical Saints moments. Tre'Quan is a serviceable receiver, not a number one. TJ, this is what happens when a person feels cloud what actually happened. Look, I don't know, man. I just think people don't. He's not everybody's cup of tea. I know he ain't my guy Matt Moscona's cup of tea, but I don't want to say like he just don't belong in the NFL. Like he just not a top tier, top notch receiver. I don't believe everything everybody says, but if everybody says the same thing, there's got to be some truth. Who's saying that? I mean, I've heard like you and maybe a couple people, but that dude don't drop a lot of passes. I don't care what anybody. Look, I'm sorry. This is something like I'm saying people entitled to their opinion, but the dude don't drop a lot of passes. And if he does, somebody have to prove that to me. Like show me statistics that shows that the dude drop a lot of passes. I mean, look, you said buku people in the chat. I don't care what buku people in the chat saying, because most of the time, I hate to say it, people be talking out their ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, if a person is upset with somebody, it's very few people that's going to use sound judgment to evaluate a person. I mean, I just that's what I learned. Show me some analytics. Show me some proof. Show me some proof that the dude dropped a bunch of passes. If you do, I will come on here and say, I'm sorry. I apologize. He does drop a lot of passes, but I need some proof because I've been watching a lot of Saints games. I have a podcast, and my podcast basically is me watching Saints. So I watch quite a bit of those things. So what are we talking about here? Let's see. 2018, 3 drops. 2019, 0. 2014, 4 drops. TJ, it's not a lot of drops. That's not a lot of drops. How many targets did he have? Let me see. And that is not a lot of drops. He had 32 catches. He dropped 4. That's over 90% of the time. You know what I'm saying? If the ball, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got to see the targets. But that is not a lot. That is not a lot of drops. If you know what I'm saying, you caught 32, you know what I'm saying? You caught 32 passes, you only dropped 4. That's not a lot of drops. Say, what you say, 2019, he had 0 at all. That's not a lot of drops. And you know, like, that's not a lot of drops. I mean, a man, let me see. Last time Tre'Quan had over 80 yards. We're not talking about that. Now, like I said, now we're talking about his production or him as a wide receiver. That's a whole different can of worms. I'm talking about him dropping passes. Okay. We're not talking about what he did as a receiver. I think we all on the same page. Like, he leaves a lot to be desired. That goes without saying. But saying a dude like, if you gonna say that he's not good, look, you're entitled to your opinion. If you saying that he leaves a lot to be desired, yeah, we're on the same page. But to say that the man dropping a whole bunch of passes and that's the reason why he's not good, I disagree. I do not agree with that. I didn't see Tre'Quan drop a pass. Only thing I saw him give up on a play I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry, man. I watch my fair share of Saints games. I ain't seeing what y'all see. We really don't expect Tre'Quan to rack up yards, but y'all in the chat acting like he's slow and brings. Look. Let me see, 44 targets. Okay, 2019, 25. All right, 2020 50, 2021 50. So out of 50 targets, he caught 32 of them. That's pretty damn good, right? That's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good, right? If he got targeted 50 times and caught 32 of them, that's pretty good. That's pretty doggone good. That's a good percentage. TJ, he a few missed routes last year counts as a drop. He had a few missed routes last year counts as a drop. I don't. What is going on, man? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing here, man? We gonna make this dude suck. We gonna make him. We gonna make him stink. He not doing what he can do, boy. We about to bury this dude. Put the shovel out. He can't catch. He running the wrong routes. God dang. Tre'Quan can't make it, man. God dog, these boys gonna put some dirt on this man. I like how we turned this into you for Tre'Quan or against like Democrats versus Republicans. Look, I'm not saying that I'm for or against anybody. I just don't. He leaves a lot to be desired, but not in a way that people are making it out to be here tonight. Not in my opinion. What? No, a drop counts as a drop. Yeah, yeah. I'm glad somebody mentioned that. I say all them passes I done caught. that sailed over. I went this way and the ball went that way. Oh, I dropped it. Oh, snap! I dropped. Run! I hit that cut. Ball go that way. Oh, I dropped it. Nah, dog. I dropped that thing. God, dog. I dropped it. We talk about his catches, not yardage. Stop moving the goalpost so you can be right. Look, I don't care about. Look, I already said he leaves a lot to be desired. But I'm not about to just sit up here and just create a narrative that ain't true about the guy. Y'all really in here just trying to tarnish his day. I mean, look, to be honest, he done a pretty decent job of doing that himself. But the way that people are making it out to be, I disagree with. Just stepping in the show, so haven't heard the whole conversation. But in my opinion, Tre'Quan doesn't get open consistently enough for us. There we go, Ryan. Look. I said that. I said that. And Ryan, I'm glad that you mentioned that. I said, if you want to talk about him not being there where we need him to be there, him not being able to win his one-on-one matchups, I'm with you. But saying a man drop passes left, right, all willy-nilly, he has made big catches, take big hits, and still held on to the ball. I mean, that's all I'm saying. I'm not about to create a narrative. I thank God up above that we have real wide receivers these years. These short paid practice squad, all pros was right. It's good to have a conversation like this, man. And the thing about it is, you don't want to know the real thing. You want to know the realization of it all. The reason why we even having a conversation and evaluating wide receivers like this is because of the same thing Debo just said. Because of the mediocrity of wide receiver. And we have had to make that be serviceable. So that's the reason why we're having this conversation and critiquing Tre'Quan the way that we're doing right now. What's up, TJ? Just getting all work, bro, and kind of shocked I caught it live, but you know support is always this way, especially catching a replay on Spotify. Well, I appreciate that, man. The slander is real in here. People are just straight line on dude. Look, I said that, you know, I've had my opinions about Tre'Quan. I've had, but I think I may have questioned his, you know what I'm saying, ability for contested catches, his toughness, maybe like once. I was like, man, why, you know what I'm saying, don't seem like he really, and then after that, man, he really started stepping it up when it came to that. So, but as far as, but like I said, I'm with you. I'm with you as far as leaving a lot to be desired, but I don't really see, I don't see him missing a lot of passes. We've had a makeshift receiver for like last 4 years. Emmanuel Sanders was the best wide receiver we signed over the last 6 years. Yeah, I agree. I guess, we talking about signing instead of drafting. Yes, I agree. Ted Ginn Jr. wasn't bad now. Ted Ginn wasn't bad for us. Ted Ginn wasn't bad. Ted Ginn gave us some good years. Now I ain't about to just dismiss Ted Ginn like that. And I'm gonna say Ted Ginn did better because he stayed longer. I mean, we wouldn't even be having a conversation about the controversial 9 call if Ted Ginn Jr. didn't catch that deep pass from Drew Brees and during desperation time. I want to say it was like a 3rd down or something, and he caught that one like 3rd and 17 or something like that. He caught it right before the 2-minute warning. We wouldn't even be having that conversation about the 9 call if it weren't for Ted Ginn. I think some people forget that. I think a lot of folks hope that he would be better last year when Mike T being out. And I agree. And that's why I feel like people have their reservations and their harsh critiques about Tre'Quan Smith. I feel that way. That's the reason I think that people feel the way they do. People feel that way about Tre'Quan because of the expectations they had for him. And he didn't live up to them. So now it's like he can't catch. He got stoned for hands. He running the wrong routes. He wears helmet backwards. He show up late to practice. I mean, but I don't know. I mean, hey TJ, how much did I miss? I'm pretty sure a lot. You've been on this late. Yeah, man. I mean, we just been talking about preseason and answering questions. Same old, same old. Y'all know how the show goes sometime, man. I mean, the show basically just me answering the questions that you all have. So it's no really like what you miss. I mean, we talked about preseason earlier in the show, but I mean, let's get in where you fit in right now. Hoodie Jube, who that? What are you looking forward to seeing tomorrow night in the football game preseason? Let's see. Hardy is a game changer on special teams. I think he needs that more that limited amount of production Tre'Quan gives us, but I don't have a problem with Smith being on the team. No cap, Winston footwork was bad this year. He has to use AK as a protection blanket, but he doesn't throw AK the ball. Soon as he did, AK was for 20-yard catches. Nobody else was catching none. Because Alvin Kamara was the team during that time offensively. He said footwork was bad this year. I don't know, man. I mean, look, there was a reason why Alvin Kamara probably was the most productive player on the team when, I mean, Jameis was out there. So, I mean, he was giving them the ball. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, he's not Drew Brees with. He's not Fred Astaire or nothing like that. He ain't got the best footwork I ever seen, but I think Alvin Kamara was the most productive thing out there. TJ, why do we tend to think that the only way to be effective on the D-line is to get sacks? Quarterback pressures matter too because they make the back end job easier. That's because that's the way that we're constructed to believe. That's how we're constructed to think. It's the power of the analytics. When they start documenting the sack all those years ago, it became like the primary thing. So, and people don't really pay attention to the defensive ends that much unless they get in the sack. So that's the reason why. So that's the reason why we would say, like, Cam Jordan, like before he didn't play with COVID and he lost his mind towards the end of the season and started sacking everything in sight. People are like, man, he lost a step, right? But he was like topping the NFL when it came to quarterback pressures and stopping the run. So, but we don't pay attention to that because, the D ends and the D tackles, they get all the attention when they put a quarterback on the ground. That's just the way that it goes. I mean, but I guarantee you who getting all fired up, these defensive coordinators and stuff like that when that happens. Like when you watching film and tape and stuff like that, and you have your coach talking to you, like you'll get the big ups. Maybe not from the fans, but those coaches give you that big up. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna give you their props. I tell you that right now. TJ, people do a lot of conflating in the chat. Yeah, sometimes. I don't know, man. I mean, people have their opinions and reservations about things, I guess. I don't know, man. I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, give them, opportunity to express themselves, but I don't know, man. I ain't got to agree with everything people say. Hey, TJ, I know it's early, but do you think we will get a 6 or 7 deep at receiver this year with the talent we have a 4 deep at tight end? I don't know, man. I don't think so. I don't think we're gonna. I think we got to get 6 on at the wide receiver position. I don't know about no 4 tight ends like being a part of no 53-man roster. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. That's quite a few. Yes, Gant was more productive than Tre'Quan, though. Yeah, it's because he was the number 2 receiver. that was the point. He was the number 2 receiver. I'll be looking for rookie performances and coach play calling tomorrow. Well, if you're looking for coaches play calling tomorrow, don't waste your time. I mean, nobody showed you what they have during preseason. I mean, it's about as vanilla as ice cream. So if you're looking for Spider 2 wild bananas and triple reverses, Sean Payton style, I would say wait for the regular season. You just gonna see some some very simplistic offenses. TJ, who are your top 3 X factors on the roster this season for us to succeed, not including Winston? Thomas, Kamara, and anybody in the secondary. That's who I feel like the X factors are. Teams like to throw the football all over the place. They like to throw the football all over the place. You need some members of the secondary to get the job done. And having Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara, we know how dynamic those guys were. So yeah, those are the X factors to me. TJ, what tight end you have the most hope in this season? Johnson needs to be more in the game plan. I agree with that, but I hope Kroll gets used more. Troutman lost my hope. Adam Troutman. That's the one I'm looking for. He looks real good. A lot of positive things said about Adam Troutman. Did a lot of things in the offseason to try to improve his play. Yeah, but I definitely agree with you with Juwan Johnson. Juwan Johnson was a really good red zone threat, and I'm always going to be a supporter of a wide receiver turning tight end because that's an advantage. TJ, do you think we re-sign Tre'Quan Smith after this season? No, I don't. But if you're asking me, will he make the team? Will he have a stronger chance of making the team this year? Yes. Will he make the team? Probably not. He'll make but he will make the team. Well, he will make the team, in my opinion, this season. If you can only re-sign one of these players this offseason, who would it be and why? McCoy, CeeDee, Davenport. McCoy. Look, if you have yourself an offensive lineman and you have a guy that's consistent, that can play top 3 at his position, you sign him. I like CJ Gardner-Johnson. I think he's necessary. I always tell people he's like one of the most necessary players for the New Orleans Saints. But when you have an offensive lineman that gives you production, you go with the offensive lineman. TJ, remember when we agreed that the Saints might keep only 2 quarterbacks? Do you think they keep that spot open for an extra wide receiver? Probably. I don't know about wide receiver. I'd probably say in the secondary they probably keep a spot open, some extra spots there. But I do think they're gonna carry 2 quarterbacks. Because here's the thing, here's the advantage. You already got a 3rd quarterback. If things go, go sideways, you got Taysom. So even though Taysom is playing primarily tight end, he still has the ability to go in the game and be that backup quarterback during emergency situations. So that's an advantage for the Saints. So they can carry 2 quarterbacks because you have a guy that can play quarterback at another position and be that the emergency 3rd quarterback if you need him to be. Who that TJ new baby been missing? Well, look, that's completely understandable right there. Congratulations to you. Guess Troutman didn't graduate based on Debo. Well, I mean, look, I can't like just completely like just wash my hands with players and just call them lost causes as long as the Saints have them. I can say that I feel like, once again, the term leaves a lot to be desired. I can say that, but I'm just not going to just destroy and just say, man, these dudes are hopeless. I don't know. I just know, man, I just know how hard it is to play football. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to play the game, man. Like, seriously. Like, it is so easy sometimes for us to be sitting there with our, with our chilled beverage and our snacks and looking at the game and being like, oh man, this dude sucked. Or this dude can't catch. Oh, get this bum out of here. Like, man, if you ever been in like any type of situation where you play like any type of organized sports, like, like your mind just constantly racing. Like, you gotta, man, it's so much stuff you gotta think about. It's hard for me to just sit up here and just say, based on like a guy 1 year, 2 years into their campaign, saying the guy's terrible. It's hard for me to do that because, God, like, people develop and get better. Sometimes it's the coaches, sometimes it's the playbook, sometimes it's the players themselves. But I don't know, man. I just can't just wash my hands with individuals like that. Now, if you constantly like just show me that you trash and you constantly show me that like there's no helping you at all, right? And there's like nothing that we can do, you know what I'm saying, for you. I'm talking about as far as cheering for you. I'm talking about coaches as far as coaching you. Then I have like my reservations about it. But I'm not going to just say, oh, a guy 1 season in, he got hurt a couple games. Oh, he injury prone. That's how he is for the rest of his career. That's the way he always going to be. If a guy throws 10 really good passes and all of a sudden the ball goes in harm's way, oh, get him out of here. I knew it. I knew he wasn't the best quarterback. I knew we shouldn't, like, we so emotional as fans, and sometimes our emotions just clouds our judgment. It affects the way that we actually evaluate the game. And I'm not one of those type of people. I give people 3 and 4 and 5 chances because I know it. I know it's tough. It is tough, man. And I just know that these guys are young. You go like from college football, right? When you probably the best player on the team, you probably the best player in that conference. Hell, you probably the best player in that nation, right? You're a wide receiver getting 20 yards of separation. You're like, come on, man. Then you go from there to having 5 yards of separation the majority of the times when you're making plays. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys, you don't have to worry about, oh, you know what I'm saying? As soon as I get in this cut, this dude about to take my head off that run a 4-3. This dude about to knock my block off. Like, the speed of the game these guys got to adjust to, the coaching, the verbiage, like, it's tough. And I don't think that it's some players that the light just comes on automatically. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like we judge our players based on a couple guys that the light comes on early for, right? Like, we look at a guy like Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, and then all of a sudden, like, any wide receiver that we get, if they don't come in acting like that, playing like that, then there's no salvaging them. They not serviceable. Everybody is not going to be a star player. That's the reality. I know we want all of our New Orleans Saints players to be stars. We want all the guys to be all pros, but it ain't happening. But that don't mean there's not a place for there's not a place for those guys in the National Football League. Callaway was at a press conference and a reporter asked how did he feel about the fans calling him trash. So they did. They did. Man, I don't know how I will react to that. P has been that player. I've been wanting to get cut so bad, LOL, and every 5 games, he be on the ground grabbing his shoulder or his knee. That's another guy. I mean, we think certain ways about Andrews Pete, but dude always end up being in the Pro Bowl. Always, you know what I'm saying, like, got a bigger contract. and they respect the man on the offensive line. Pete is a 6'7", 325-pound pillowcase of feathers. That's that joke, right? 325 pounds of pillowcase feathers. It's still 325 pounds, though. No filter. I'm convinced TJ doubles as his agent when not doing SOTS. Well, I wish I was. I wish I was his agent. I probably wouldn't be having this conversation with you right now. But hey, I guess if you defend a person, you gotta double as his agent. I guess so. Yeah, but hey, I'm all for him being criticized. I mean, it's warranted, but I'm not gonna lie on the man. I'm not gonna lie on the man to sound credible. TJ, if Ian gets moved to the practice squad, do you think he gets snatched up like Humphreys? It burns me up to see Lil Jordan on New England. No, I don't think he gets snatched up. Depends on like what he does in his preseason games. I don't think anybody gonna snatch him up though. I don't think he'll get snatched up like that. He's an average old lineman, never been top notch. In the running game, he's been top notch. Not just pass protection, he's been average. This may sound crazy, but Andrews Pete, when it comes to like run blocking, is like one of the top run blockers in the NFL at his position. Pass protection, yeah, average at best, but I don't know, man. Like it depends on how the Saints are structured. Like if the Saints are a balanced offensive team, I think that a lot of people might end up looking at Andrews Pete differently because it's about what the Saints will be asking him to do, dropping back 35, 40 times a game, giving him 35, 45 chances to possibly give up a play. The radio show I listened to that I found out about TJ in this podcast nicknamed Pete Pinewater because they said he doesn't move. Let's see, the radio station I listened to that I found out about TJ in this podcast nicknamed Pete Pinewater because they said he doesn't move. Who is Pete Pinewater? And who doesn't move? I don't know what that means. Ian Brook looked like he plays quarterback in high school. I thought Drew was small. That Miami game, Book looked like he was 100. Yeah, he did look small out there. He did look small out there. Who is Pete Pinewater? Hey, I'm just trying to see what that is. Hey, TJ, quick question. Do you think it will take Matthew and May a couple games to get, or do you think with their experience it would? Nah, it's going to take some time. I mean, secondary, you got to be on the same page. Communication is key, and guys got to be able to understand each other. So if a defense don't come out looking like the defense like we normally have been used to over the last couple of years, it's not that big of a deal. It just takes those guys some time in order for them to be, get me on the same page. Because it was like that when Malcolm Jenkins first got here. When Malcolm Jenkins, like a couple games, like they kind of struggled a little bit. Contrary to popular belief, old linemen prefer to run block. It's not. That right there came from Zach Strief. I remember like that. I remember when I interviewed Zach Strief, he said that. He said offensive linemen prefer to run block. He said it lets them get downhill and destroy defenders. TJ asked that person who called Pete a pillowcase, do you want to see him on the field? I don't think they do. I don't think they do. But look, I mean, yeah, he has a problem with pass protection, but he's one of the best run blocking guards in the league. Believe it or not. TJ, do you believe in Mark Ingram? Yes, I do. I believe he will have the team's best dances, but runs, I don't know. He looks washed last season, and I like Marky Mark. That's another thing. Like I don't know. I don't know what the hell going on. I mean, Mark Ingram was hurt, but I can remember that game versus the Tennessee Titans. I mean, I remember a couple games where he stepped up and made some plays. Like like the dude is 31, 32 years old. Just because the dude is 31, 32 years old don't mean that the dude can't that he's not serviceable when he can't play no more. I mean, the Saints have always been a running back by committee. Like I don't know, man. I don't know. Like the Saints have always been a running back by committee. So we're not expecting for Mark Ingram to go out there and run the ball 30 times. But if you're asking me, along with Alvin Kamara, can he be a complimentary running back and get some snaps and be able to get a decent 4 to 5 yard average per game? Yes, I do. This is a great podcast, and you're a great host talking Saints football. I have a lot of knowledge of what you do with your podcast. Keep it up and keep doing a good job. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Brian. Thank you, man. We try over here. Man, we got to have somebody that can run while Alvin on lockdown. We don't even know if he going to, get suspended. Right? I mean, they got stories out right now. He may not even get suspended this year. TJ, what running scheme do you think we should use more? Inside zone primarily? I think so, man, because they do really well. You know what I'm saying? They do really well with inside zone. Also, man, I would like, and I think who said that? I think Josh said this. I would like to see 3 running back sets. You know what I'm saying? Like I would like to see where you actually have Ingram and Kamara on the field at the same time. I want, you know what I'm saying? I want a hard-nosed smash mouth type, you know what I'm saying, running game, right? They both can run in between the tackles. And also, you know what I'm saying, they can set up what Jameis Winston is really good at, which is the play action. So I want to see, you know what I'm saying, I think that they need to do different run concepts. You know what I'm saying? Not just, okay, you know what I'm saying, just run the ball up the middle real quick. Let's do a halfback toss. You know what I'm saying? Like all them stretch plays they normally do. Like, because a lot of the time, like, they have athletic offensive linemen, and they use that, you know what I'm saying, for them stretch plays when they try to get to the perimeter, you know what I'm saying, getting to the outside. But my goodness, you know what I'm saying, I would, like, sometimes, man, you got to use those guys in the middle, man, to be able to push them dudes back. After the Saints going 12-5, Mark ain't shine when AK went down because teams ain't respect our passing and stack box. Pete out. TA Teron Armstead was out. McCoy and Ram in and out and banged up. Not to mention Trevor was a quarterback. Got to get the context. Good point. See that sometimes it's not. It's way more than a guy not being able to run the football. How many times? Like, I mean, okay, for example. You remember that play? I don't know who they played. They may have played Carolina. Could be wrong. But Alvin Kamara, like, carrying the ball. And Andrews Pete was in his way. Like, no, not Andrews Pete, but Cesar Ruiz was in his way. And he was like so upset, like, when he got up the ground because Cesar Ruiz, you know what I'm saying, was in his way. He was trying to maneuver around him. He had space. You know, like, he probably would have got like 10, 15 yards off that play. Right? You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's not always, cut and dry like we see it. I've been watching you for years, TJ. I never pay attention to but what the hell is the Pornish Bros? What? The Pornish Bros. That's when our podcast came up for doing the. Yeah, man. I don't know. Like for some apparent reason, that spam started to come up, but once again, that's normally like when when you got a well-established channel. Do you think the Saints would ever bring back Aaron Brooks as a backup quarterback? And for the first time tonight, hell no, to the no, hell to the no. Not happening. TJ, do you think the trick play bag gets open more or less with Sean? Less. I don't think you're gonna see too many trick plays. Do you realize how old Aaron Brooks is? Carl might be this year's catfish, man. Jones and Callaway was past a few years poster boys. Could be. we'll see him. He'll get his opportunities in this preseason game, so we'll see how good he can do. Ingram can do his basic run, and if the O line blocks right, he'll definitely get good yards. But Kamara is the man. I hope he can get it in the MVP conversation. Could depends on like the offense the Saints run. Kamara deserves the MVP within the next 2 years. I don't know, man. That seems like that's the quarterback award now. No, everybody started talking about quarterbacks. Oh, look what he did. Like, no matter, like, in order for Alvin Kamara to be considered MVP candidate, he got to probably have to break Eric Dickerson's record or something like that. That's the only way I feel like a running back would beat out a quarterback. What's your prediction for the conference standings? I have a show about that coming up in a few weeks. That's why I said that I wasn't being serious. It was a joke. Yeah, I know you was joking. That's why I hit the Bishop Bullwinkle. See, Jones Jr. ain't that dude. Debo, I have to say, man, I don't think you sold on nobody. I don't think there was a person on here that you were sold on. You talked about Jameis's footwork. You talked about Jones Jr. can't play. Said Tre'Quan got stoned for hands. Like we need to, that's what I said. I like, I know, like anybody you like everybody, like it's like you gotta redeem yourself, man. You gotta talk about some good qualities from somebody. I'm like, God, yo, man, Ingram washed. I mean, God, no. TJ, our play action would be nasty. Jameis has a 70-yard bomb waiting to happen. I mean, I ain't trying to pick on nobody, but God, dog, man. My man went ham on it. Everybody. MVPs have become the Heisman of the NFL only quarterback awards. Absolutely. Used to be like, linebackers and all them can get it. Aaron Brooks is 46 years old now. Hey, TJ, I think we will go 13-4 this year as long as we stay healthy. Yeah, could be. Mike T. Landry, most receptions and touchdowns. Thomas, most receptions and more touchdowns. Hey, TJ, did you see Primetime call the Hall of Fame watered down now? Hard for me to say. Look, Deion Sanders is a Hall of Famer, greatest cornerback of all time, in my opinion. Great coach. Hope he have a good season because he coaching my alma mater. But I would have to say, yeah. Look, like, I don't know, man. Brian Young, no disrespect, that he was I watched this guy play. The thing about it is, and now I'm having appreciation. The guys that's going into the Hall of Fame, I actually had an opportunity to see these guys' careers from start to finish. So I actually have appreciation for their greatness. Some of the guys, as a part of that get in the next, in the first 5 years, 10 years or something like that. But when you got guys like that, and then you don't have guys like Pat Swilling up in that thing, right? You have like guys like Devin Hester, who greatest kick return of all time, not in that thing. Andre Johnson, like guys, that was great, really good players like during their time. And then you see like, mediocre guys up in that thing, like Leroy Butler. Like, I ain't saying Leroy Butler shouldn't get in, but not as early as he did. So I don't know. I don't want to say it's watered down, but when the media has like a vote on it, it's also about like how guys are and how they treated them during a time where they actually were playing. That's actually a rule now. If a guy was mean or cruel, and I wanted to talk to him and he didn't want to talk to me, yeah, that's a deal breaker now. That's a deal breaker. Not about what the dude did on the field, right? But I wanted to talk to you and have an exclusive interview, and you ain't let me. I 100% agree, TJ. Just wanted to hear. Yeah, I mean, they got some guys in there. There's always going to be some guys that's going to be left out. That's the first thing I thought. I was having flashbacks of Hurts running on us when I was watching Ritter earlier. Desmond Ridder did some good things. He did some bad things. He got bailed out because he threw an ugly interception. But it ended up being like roughing a passer and they ended up like taking it off the board. I think he has a excuse me. I think he has talent. I think he has the ability to be something special, but it ain't right now. And the only thing I really seeing them guys, let's just put this thing into perspective here. Do I think that it's going to be effective? Yes, I do. Against the Saints, it will be effective because the Saints play a lot of man-to-man coverage, right? And when you have like your wide receivers and your tight ends and you got the safeties and the cornerbacks going out, you know what I'm saying, with them, that leaves the middle of the field wide open, right? It leaves the middle of the field wide open. And if you have a scrambling quarterback, yes, he can hurt you. He definitely can hurt you. So, yes, that can be effective. Between Mariota and Ridder, yes, that can be effective. So the Saints are going to have at least a spy on some guys that have a tendency of running like Mariota, like Ridder. TJ, do you like college football? I think I already answered that, Brian. Yeah, I like college football. Edelman is not a Hall of Famer. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He is. He is based on his regular season performances, postseason performances, and maybe okay. And let me say this, Debo. Maybe a couple of years back, no. In modern day NFL, yes, he is. Yes, he is. And he will be in the Hall of Fame. I don't know about first ballot, but he will get into the Hall of Fame. Hey, TJ, I always enjoy your podcast, and I have been trying to tell everyone that I know who are Saints fans to tune in. I hope your family is doing well. Well, I appreciate that, man. It's just amazing to me, man. It's amazing to me, like, when just being out and about and people just recognize you from doing this. Like, I think about this in a million years. Like, I'll be out, I'll be at the gas station or something, or, you know what I'm saying, just be out and about and people like say how much they enjoy the show. And this is in South Carolina. And they were like, I'm a Saints fan and I enjoyed the show. And it was one guy, you know, I seen he had his Saints hat on and, you know, he recognized me. That was weird, you know what I'm saying? But it's always good to do something, you know, and people have an appreciation for it and like what you're doing, you know. So thank you for that, man. I appreciate it. Man, I really don't know how many Saints fans actually know about the State of the Saints podcast, but, you know, I appreciate the ones that do. I hope Troutman uses his size and catches the ball this season because I got a chance to see him up close last Saturday in training camp. That is a big guy. Yeah, man. I mean, it's so crazy, man, because he was a pass catching tight end. And he went from being a pass catching tight end to a blocking tight end. Now he blocks better than he catches. That's crazy. Coastal should be if Edelman is. I think this. I don't know. I don't know if Coastal will ever get into the Hall of Fame. I mean, he never made the Pro Bowl. So, you know, he never made the Pro Bowl. He was Drew Brees, you know, number one receiver for years. But I don't think they don't think they're going to let him in. I don't think they're going to let him in. If he had a couple of Pro Bowls under his belt to validate that, then I think he would, but I don't think he ever will be in the Hall of Fame. I actually like Mariota. I live in Nashville. I felt bad when the Titans released him. He got a fighting spirit that people don't see. His last season in Tennessee, he couldn't feel the ball. Yeah, I like Mariota too, man. Interested to see what he gonna do. Yeah, maybe he can resurrect his career. I mean, he okay. It's just the fact that he was always, you know, he was injured a lot, and you know, couldn't really see the field. Edelman never made the Pro Bowl. He didn't. He never made the Pro Bowl. But I know what his cop. I mean, I know what his excuse will be. They'll say like they'll say something like, well, he ain't never played in the Pro Bowl because he was always in the Super Bowl. They'll say something like that, right? But he was a three-time Super Bowl champion, a Super Bowl MVP, and yeah, but he never made the Pro Bowl. But they'll probably say something like he should have made the Pro Bowl those times where he actually, was actually playing in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? In the Super Bowl. Because, if you play in the Super Bowl, you don't play in a Pro Bowl, I guess. They'll probably say something like that. He wasn't the alternate. I mean, somebody, he was in a Pro Bowl, a Super Bowl, so he was somebody took his spot. They'll probably say some stuff like that. But I don't know, man. I mean, based on his stats, and he has 6,800 yards receiving. He's a Super Bowl MVP. He a three-time Super Bowl champion, and he put up stats. I mean, I think he beat something that Jerry. I think he had more catches, if I'm not mistaken, more catches in the playoffs or something like that in postseason history than Jerry Rice, or touchdowns than Jerry Rice, or something like that. And when you're in that type of conversation, man, people might find a way to put you off in that thing. People might put you off in that thing, man. Yeah, I'm talking about in today's NFL. I ain't talking about like back in the day. Nah, he wouldn't get in there. But today, he might get in there. Hey TJ, who do you think will get the 5th wide receiver spot? I feel like Mike, Landry, Olave, Hardy, or the locks. I say Tre'Quan Smith. TJ has said the criteria for entering the Hall of Fame is less about what you did between the lines, but more about what you did off it. Yeah, man. It's about what you did in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like how you treated the media, all these different things. I don't think it has anything to do with like how special you were on the field. He should have made like 2 Pro Bowls. I see 2 100 reception seasons with 1,000 yards. That's what I'm saying. Like, so they're gonna say he should have been in a Pro Bowl, but he was in the Super Bowl that year or something. They look. He played with Tom Brady. He played in New England. You know what I'm saying? He won 3 Super Bowls. He was a Super Bowl MVP. They're going to put him off in that thing. Hall of Fame wide receivers to me are T.O., Randy Moss, Steve Smith. Me too. Me too. I mean, I'm with you. Julio Jones. I'm talking about guys that's still around. Look at his Hall of Fame. Julio Jones. Antonio Brown. Even though I don't think he'll get in the Hall of Fame because he lost his damn mind. But I'm talking about as far as production. Guys that I see like creating a legacy for themselves to be a Hall of Famer. If Michael Thomas like continues the trajectory he was on before he got hurt, he'll be in there. I'm gonna look around the NFL. Devontae Adams, if he continues his trajectory, he'll be in there. I think Tyreek Hill needs a couple more good seasons. I think he needs a couple more seasons for me to call him a lot. Yeah, but guys like that, But of course, guys that's gonna be coming up, guys like Larry Fitzgerald, that's a no-brainer. Steve Smith to me is a no-brainer. Guys like that, those are no-brainers to me. Saints are in best position for future NFC South, and currently we have 3-year Super Bowl window. I would love to see us win with this current core. They deserve it. Fans deserve it. The city deserves it. But I mean, I hate to say it, but a lot of teams may feel that way. But I echo your sentiments. All the heartbreak we done had over the last 4 to 5 years, yeah, I feel like we deserve something. Mike Evans is going to be in it, even though he ain't that good as people say. I think Mike Evans is really good. I mean, I do. I think he's really good. I think he Hall of Fame worthy. And the thing about it is, I think I don't want to say people is just saying like he good because of Brady, because I mean he was making plays. He was making plays when Jameis was there. You know what I'm saying? He was still getting 1,000 yards and stuff like that, man. So I ain't gonna just completely poo-poo on the man. I think he on the trajectory to make the Hall of Fame. Mike Evans has had a 1,000 yards season since his rookie year. That's what I'm saying. Like, how can you look past that? To me, Joe Horn is the best wide receiver the Saints have ever had. I think Marcus Colston is the best receiver the Saints have ever had. And I think Michael Thomas is, in about 2 or 3 years, going to be the best wide receiver the Saints ever had. I'll put Joe Horn at third. I'll put Joe Horn as the third. Michael Thomas had the dog in him that Joe did. Amen. Well, look, I think Joe Horn the third best wide receiver in Saints history. Now, some people may agree with that, some people may not, but I think Colston was better. I think Michael Thomas is. I put it like this: Michael Thomas has another good season, then he can. I'll say he'll surpass Joe Horn. Then, if he has another top-notch, top-tier, like I won't say average season. I'm talking about like a steady season. He passes Joe Horn to me. And then in a couple of years, he'll pass Marcus Colston. We need these fools to stay healthy. Hey, TJ, if Edelman makes it to the Hall of Fame, why not put Golden Tate in there? Just saying. Golden Tate ain't got 3 Super Bowls. He ain't a Super Bowl MVP. And he didn't play with Tom Brady. Do you think the NFC South will have 4-team race to see who wins the division? Or do you think the New Orleans Saints will just run away with the division? I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think. I'm the best wide receiver in Aints history. Okay. One thing I don't like is, as a fan, we get mad at certain people for getting hurt as if the game they play isn't going to cause injuries. Yeah, I mean, you got to have a little bit of luck on your side, and you got to win that battle of attrition. Sometimes guys just don't. TJ, who is the most underrated player in Saints history? P.L. Thomas. P.L. Thomas. To me, right? P.L. Thomas, like you rarely ever see people really just talking about how good and how meaningful this dude was. P.L. Thomas to me is the most underrated Saints player in history. That's the first person I think about because you got to think at this. Every single year, P.L. Thomas was the running back for the Saints. The Saints tried so many ways to put a running back ahead of him. And every single year, he made it hard for the Saints to take him off the field. When Reggie Bush got drafted, they wanted to put Reggie Bush as the starting feature back. But he was better. Like, to me, as a Saint, I'm sorry. He was better than Reggie Bush, right? Then all of a sudden, Mark Ingram came along, and they tried to put Mark Ingram ahead of him, and he still was out there balling. P.L. Thomas, to me, is the most underrated New Orleans Saints player of all time. Seriously. Because I've never seen – they tried their hardest to try to put somebody ahead of this dude. And every single year, he hit it out of the park. That man does not, like you said, man, that man will not get his flowers for what he did with the Saints. I mean, the dude to me was the best screen runner I ever seen. He ran the ball with toughness. Anytime the Saints really needed a spark, he was there. It was times where you seen him take over the game, and when the momentum was down, you'll see him fighting off some tackles. Yeah, P.L. Thomas to me is the most underrated New Orleans Saint. We're going to need TJ to suit up if the injury bugs hit this year, praying that won't happen. Yeah. Well, I don't want it to happen either. I want it to happen either. I don't want to see the injuries, but I mean, don't sleep on your boy now. Don't sleep on your boy now. Don't make it seem like I can't catch or I can't play football. Don't make that mistake. Who's the most already read? Jared Bird. Jared Bird. All I gotta say. Oh no, I'm gonna hit you with the let me see if I can find one here.
Boy, if you
don't get up out of here with that. Jared Bird. Hell no. P.L. Thomas was a big dude too for a running back. Honestly, to me, he should have played fullback. I think he was right at his position. He was really good, man. Do you think the Saints will make any more trades or get more free agents before they start? I don't know, man. I mean, if they need one and it's a good deal, I can see it. Kyle Robinson was the most underrated player the Saints had, no lie, better than Chris Ivory. Kyle Robinson He was underrated, but I look, you're entitled to your opinion, but P.L. Thomas was very underrated. This man was. I'm talking about like people don't even really talk about how good P.L. Thomas was. Like seriously, like nobody really talk about P.L. like that. I mean, you might hear like a few people talk about him, but nobody really talk about how much that dude meant to this team. Like when you start hearing about people talk, they'll talk about Bush, they'll talk about Sproles, they'll talk about Jimmy Graham. I'm talking about like throwing, saying some of the Saints like golden age years. They'll talk about. They don't really hear him talking about PL like that. Don't forget TJ Boo Williams. Boo Williams.
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no.
Oh my goodness. Boo Williams got to be the biggest moron in Saints history. I'll never forget playoffs on the line. Saints playing Minnesota, right? This dude had a first down, right? And he caught the ball, jumped back about 5 yards to get enough momentum to try to get the first down again. Turnover. Now it was a fourth down. This dude, it was like 4th and 3 or 4th and 2. This dude caught the ball, jumped back like he Reggie Bush at USC, and then tried to fight for the yards again. Saints lost the game. Boo Williams. Boy, like Boo-Boo the fool up in this thing, man. Shout out to the Saints legend, Dan Campbell. He is funny as hell as the Lions coach. Yeah, I don't think he going to last, though. He kind of lost me when he was crying in the huddle. I love y'all, man. I think about y'all. I don't know about that, man. You may think that's fire and desire, but God, I don't know, dude want to see you crying in the huddle like you Dick Vermeil or something. So what was the whole Kiko Alonso thing about? Probably just about depth. Probably just having some guys out there doing preseason. Same reason why KJ Costanzo out there. I mean, need depth, right? But I mean, he realized he was finished, right? That's the best thing. That's the best thing, though. Most overrated player is Bobby Hebert. Andy Dalton is way better. Let's see how he like. Do you think that Archie Manning was overrated? No. He just played on a terrible team. That 2011 team was fun with Pierre. The team 2018, 2009, and this team now will be fun to watch. The team now has balance, in my opinion. Hope O-line be stout. I wonder how many points the offense will average. I think they probably average about 30 points a game. If everybody stay healthy. I already read that. No, I don't think Archie Manning was overrated, Brian. But man, we've been on here for 2.5 hours. You never heard about Pierre, and you hardly ever see our Super Bowl highlights played or a game replayed, if it never ever existed. They played the Super Bowl a while back, more and recently. I think Aaron Brooks was the most annoying player we ever had. So talented, but so trash at the same time. Football love affair. You ain't lying about that. That man can thread the needle one play and then be smiling about an interception the next play. I just think that he probably got his teeth done. He got some veneers. He just wanted us to see him, but wasn't nothing to smile about. But final thought, I'm excited about the game. As of right now, it's going to be played on today because it's after midnight here in South Carolina, and it's midnight probably if you're on Central Standard Time. If you're on the West Coast, not so much, but I'm looking forward to the game. I'm looking forward to seeing the Saints execute well. I'm looking forward to seeing some of those Saints players that we're looking to see what they can do versus some stiff competition. The Houston Texans, I mean, they got some players out there, man. I hope Derek Stingley actually plays. a couple snaps just to see what he can do. Always excited to see that. I don't know if Davis Mills is going to play, but I mean, the Houston Texans are trying to do some things too. Lovie Smith, the new head coach, he's trying to bring a new identity to them. They got some talent on that team, man. They got some guys out there that we may need to be looking out for, man, because, the Saints and the Houston Texans, they got a pretty good relationship. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to trading and using each other players and stuff like that, Celio Calamente was over there, right? We got Bradley Roby. We were able to get, we was able to get Mark Ingram back from them, right? Also the Baltimore Ravens as well. You know what I'm saying? The Baltimore Ravens. It's a couple teams out there. The Saints really, have like certain relationships with. Minnesota was when Mike Zimmer was there because of the relationship between him and Sean Payton. But those guys have something to prove too. And they got some guys on their team that's trying to make the team as well. But I'm looking forward to seeing some execution, some really good execution. The ball being where it needs to be, not many drops, and talk about some of these strong points. Also going to be looking really closely at the offensive line, because it's not just about the starters. It's about who's going to back up those guys, because we know that the offensive line has had some injury problems over the last couple of years. So I encourage everybody to kind of look at the offensive line late in like the third quarter, second quarter, something like that, towards the end of the game. You start to see some guys playing, but Ken Arthur said Stingley ain't playing. That's unfortunate. I wish he was playing, but I want to look at the offensive line and see, some of these guys who can be these backups or possibly make the team. So, I mean, Derek Stingley, if he were playing, man, that would be pretty cool. I wish John Mechie was playing, but unfortunately, I'm praying for the brother. I know he got diagnosed with leukemia. Hoping this man have a speedy recovery. But, I mean, they have a lot to prove over there on the Houston Texans side. The AFC South, in my opinion, is wide open. They're trying to win some games too. Did you hear about Aaron Rodgers' drink that he used in 2020? They said it didn't violate the league substance policy. Oh, okay. Nah, I didn't hear about that. I didn't hear about that at all. On 128 in North Cape, New Jersey. That's where I live. I used to live in New Orleans. With my dad. Okay. You live in New Jersey. Okay, that's cool, man. Shouts out to New Jersey, man, out there repping the Saints. TJ, no one infuriating me more than Aaron Brooks when he smiled. Yeah, that ain't make no sense. Mills is playing confirmed by movies. Stingley, is it? Okay, well, Davis Mills, I like Davis Mills. Okay, I like the neck. You know what I'm saying? The neck, that man neck about 20 feet high, but that dude is good. Like, he a good quarterback. Wouldn't surprise me if he has a really solid season, man. I like Davis Mills. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? I watched him in college. He had some really good games in the pros. Probably his best game was against the Chargers, when the Chargers was fighting for their playoff lives and they dropped 40 on them boys. So, that ought to be, I want to see him play, man. I like that guy. TJ, how many college coaches you know? A lot. A lot of them. A lot of them. I know a lot of them. But, I mean, it just comes with the territory, being a fan. I think we all just want the team to be the best, and sometimes it frustrates us when they're not. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate it. We will be on right after the New Orleans Saints take on the Houston Texans. We'll be breaking down that game. We won't be doing like halftime reports and all that other stuff like we normally do during the regular season, because to me, I just feel like it's pointless, because, halftime reports are really designed like, would you feel like the team need to do better second half to get the win? I don't really care about wins and losses in preseason. I care about execution. But we will be here immediately following the Saints versus Texans game right here on the State of the Saints podcast. We'll be here taking your calls. We'll be here answering your questions. And appreciate everybody, man. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you have not liked the show already, hit that like button. Make sure that you follow the Facebook page, which is facebook.com. Search The State of the Saints podcast, and previous episodes available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Anchor FM. Have a good morning, noon, night, whenever you're checking out this podcast. And like always, all I got to say is,